Hello, everybody. What is going on? Tasteless here with State for the round of 16 now of the RSL. How you doing, buddy?
I'm feeling electric, dude. I cannot wait to get started. We wrapped up the group stages of the RSL Season 2 last week, and now moving on into the first stage of this double elimination bracket. We got some really exciting matchups ready for you guys, and dude, I am just completely stoked to be back here. It's been an excellent Season 2 thus far.
It's been great. We're kind of powering through this season, but, you know, it's been a treat to be doing RSL here. We've got two amazing matches for you guys here today.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something different here. Welcome back to a co-stream of the RSL or the Rival StarCraft League. I'm, of course, your side VIP, and with me, we're all tuning in to enjoy some RSL action. I'll be honest, I didn't get to watch any of Season 1. We've been too busy casting. I missed out on Season 1, I've missed out on the group stage of Season 2, so if you recommend some of the matches, I would love to hear about it. But we're here, we're back to co-stream some of this lovely RSL, and look, good to see Tasteless and State together here. Honestly, I love the vibe, I love the aesthetic, the retro kind of theme that they got going on. I don't know if it fits with I feel like they could do more with it. This reminds me so much of ANZ Champs, but like I feel like they could take it a step further here with when it comes to the theme, when it comes to the outfits, when it comes to kind of the overall theme of the show. I'll just be honest, I just want an ANZ Champs again, but you know, for them to do it and for them to do it well, I'll be honest. God damn it. But regardless, we do have confirmation, of course, that we have 3 seasons this year of RSL, so 3 seasons into an offline finals, which they are currently discussing, of course. Also, a shout out to their other sponsors as well. I still feel like they should do a little bit more with Archon Studios with the tabletop miniatures game. I feel like they should do like a painting segment, or like show off the models in some way, or show off the game in some way. I feel like they can do more, but regardless, really cool to hear that they are sponsoring, of course.
Game for StarCraft's going to be on pre-sale later this year. I am super excited to check it out, but all this stuff on their website is amazing, so please give them some love.
Yeah, discussing
a
little bit.
We love what they're doing, and we really appreciate them supporting StarCraft too.
Of course, and we have a big community here on Patreon. A lot of folks have already supported, and if you want, you can join them as well.
Yeah, they're going through their Patreon as well, of course. It's one of those things where so far, I mean, RSL, they're still kind of like, it feels like they're still in their teething phase where they got through Season 1 and they're refining themselves, of course. I still feel like they can do more with their studio. I feel like they should do more, like with their camera setup. I mentioned before, it'd be really nice if they had a dedicated host. It'd be really nice if they had interviews, even pre-game interviews as well, especially for the playoffs, like pre-game interviews, especially because, yo, for those that are curious, we only have 2 series tonight. We only have 2 best of 5s in tonight's broadcast, so if you only have 2 matches, if you have so much time left over here and you're not constrained by like, oh, we got, you know, I got someone to be in like 2 hours or something, then make use of that time, right? Make use of that time, be able to have like a sit down, a discussion as well, you know, be able to talk to the players, ask some questions about, you know, what they're currently, how things are feeling for them, especially coming into the off season, their thoughts towards RSL, what their practice is looking like, how things have changed ever since EWC, what they're looking forward to, preparations, thoughts coming into their series. There's a lot to like discuss there. It's really cool to hear from them. Something that I know that they are lacking, which would be really cool for them to invest in, is also a translator, right? Whether it's Maddox, whether it's someone else, I'm sure there's plenty of StarCraft 2 fans in Korea. You'll get Crank out there to be able to get some interviews going, to be able to hear from the players themselves, to create some more content, right? Outside of just, you know, casting the games themselves, because there are so few games to cast.
And if you also want to catch the action, if you can't tune in live, there's a lot of StarCraft coming at you. It's kind of hard to get a grasp on everything.
The
Go to youtube.com/@revivesc2. Our team has done an excellent job of putting together spoiler-free VODs in playlist. They're relatively quick at getting them out as well. Go ahead and check it out.
They're faster than us.
To make this YouTube big.
True,
it's already going well, but I think it can be even better. And you know, building up the Revive SC2 YouTube is going to help us reach additional members.
Crank is casting, yes.
Get everybody clued in on exactly what we're producing.
Someone should send them the NZ Champs intro. Yeah, like they should make their own intro, like that.
Still appreciate your support. Going to the YouTube.
Feels ANZ Champs, man.
If you can like the videos and get people on board with that, that's going to help us.
Say can translate. If he can translate, then get him in there. Make him translate.
And we take a look at the bracket.
Get him in there,
Kira
Pappy.
versus Shin and Reynor versus Zoun here in the winter quarterfinals are going to be the 2 best-of-5s coming at you today, but there's a lot more
2 best-of-5s
in the pipeline as well. Trigger and Classic Mara and Byun going to be coming at you tomorrow. As it's a pretty tough matchup, dude. Kira versus Shin, one of the best Terran players in Korea, one of the best Zerg players in Korea, and Reynor versus Zoun as well. Zoun has been really impressing me lately, but Reynor, his ZVP looks absolutely incredible. Was able to take down Classic, the reigning RSL champ, 2nd place EWC in the group stages. It's going to be a stellar day.
So we've got a winner's match. Winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. I think when I opened the show, because I've been casting ASL at the same time, I think I said we're in the round of 16, which makes no sense.
You did say
Sorry,
that.
Wrong tournament. These are all bleeding
fine.
together in my brain. Yeah, we're going to have some of these players move on into the winner's semis, and then the other players will go down to the loser's bracket.
As someone who's just tuning in now, I wish that they took some time here to go over the group stage and to like set up what the players are looking like coming into this. I'm referring specifically to the playoff players and how they got here, you know, what happened in the groups. A bit of like a recap. That would be nice. Maybe showing some highlights.
Should have some sort of a disadvantage, right? The winner's bracket guy, he got
Hey, we did that for Inter Champs, true.
flawlessly. So what we're going to do is this finals will be a best of 7. If the winner's bracket guy wins that, it's over. He's the RSL Season 2 champ. If he loses that, we do a reset into an intense best of 3.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. It's double elimination tournament. If you make it all the way to that grand finals without dropping a series, getting that final extra life in a best of 3 can make all the difference. And
again, especially,
it's going to be a nail biting.
I'm going to say this, especially because there's only 2 series tonight. Just saying. So pad it out with some content. Pad it out.
I think a tough one to call. I think both of our matches should be pretty close, but Kira versus Shin, maybe slightly Kira favored. He's looked really scary as of late, but Shin has been in great form.
Yeah, Shin was able to advance from a group with Maru, Mana, and Max Pax, which is pretty intense.
State he's touching on it.
You would think that it would give us a bit of a clue as to where his ZBT is at, but Maru actually played Protoss in that series and was able to take Shin down. So
I thought we were going to cut the highlights.
ZBT we're going to be seeing from Shin here in the RSL Season 2 as our map is finally loaded up. Botanical is going to be where we play map number 1 of this best of 5, and in the bottom right, the red Terran, it is Cure. The top left, the blue Zerg, it is Shin.
Okay, so Cure, I mean, this guy,
Yo, who's observing?
at times, it seems like it doesn't matter what happens to him in the early game. His
where was
TDC
the
is
swish?
So robust, it's so strong. I'm not one of the casters that tends
Okay.
to like, check a Ligulac a lot to get a feel for what this is, but
Good.
it feels like these guys have had a somewhat close record, but Cure tends to just kind of come out on top. Shin, formerly known as Ragnarok, has been an extremely strong player, but Cure is basically one step behind Maru when it comes to all the Terrans in not just Korea, but Asia in general.
Yeah, and I think just stylistically even, I have to give a little bit of an edge here to Cure because, when I think of Shin, and I think of especially his games back when he went by...
I kind of wish, I mean, it's different for me because I didn't get to cast the group stage or watch the group stage. Are we, like, going to ignore the map? We're on, what is Botanical? Talk about the map, Pappy. What's going on? I think I saw some goal bases in the center. There were some speed zones as well. Show off the map. Shout out to Avex, by the way, for making it. I do know this was one of the TLMC maps, I believe, that was submitted.
Kind of the same way. I feel like Cure is maybe even a little bit more well-rounded.
Gasless opener, true.
Variety of matchups, his early
Gasless opener by Shin. He's been renowned for this recently, going for roaches into Ultra Rush.
Given that head-to-head,
He's been very fond of going gasless.
Cure, to me, is just a little bit stronger in the mid-game, and the fact that that's really Shin's strength from my perspective. Yeah, I do think that Cure probably has an edge here, maybe 60-40.
Yeah, like a 6-4 matchup, something like that. I think back to when I was casting with Reynor last season, and there was a game where like Cure...
So when it comes to this opener, it is really crucial for the Terran player to identify what's going on and to try to punish the player as well. I just noticed there is a ramp coming to the natural, so the natural does look pretty defendable. It does look like a decent map to go gasless like this. The third base is a little bit further away, but with a ramp coming into natural, you can wall up, you can defend it quite nicely. It feels like.
And when to pack it up and go back home or relocate. The Reaper's going to come through here now. No drone kills. so far. And back at home for the Terran, we're probably going to see a 1-1-1. We can confirm that once the factory's done and the starport starts.
Yeah, man, that Reaper almost went down.
Yeah.
4 HP. Shin trying to...
So I don't know why he said a 1-1-1. We have a third CC before starport, economic opener.
Up in just a moment, as just as Tasteless predicted, third command center coming in right now for Cure. And I think you're absolutely right. We're going to have some fast tech up, factory and starport, probably getting some map control early on with Hellions, maybe even with Cyclones later on, and some starport units. And behind it, a ton of economic greed.
Yeah, I think this is a great build as long as you know how to stop cheeses and any kind of weird timing attacks. This is one of the strongest builds in the game. Get that third.
They're talking about Cure's opener. I still want to emphasize what Shin has been going for here, and we'll see if Cure can identify as, oh, the scout is going to be denied. Double Reaper cliff into the main. Oh, okay. We don't see that too often anymore, especially that thin.
Have any real fights coming up here? Maybe when the Terran can get 2 medevacs.
So I'm just so fascinated by the map.
But this is really going to be about Terran getting up to 3 bases.
I like trying to get a glimpse whenever we see something.
Secure that 4th tech up, and if the Zerg isn't killed there, we're going to go into late game ZVT.
Yeah, and I'm curious what the composition is going to be here for Cure. He's actually opting for the Viking here before Banshee. Just going to try and clear up that Overlord that we see on the mini-map just in the bottom right corner.
Interesting.
Of Cure's basin. Whoa, actually getting really bold with these first 2 aliens.
Yo, shout out to Luis CGG. Guys, that's probably Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Hope you had a good stream. Hope you had a good ladder session.
Have mining from there, how greedy Shin is being, but with those lings, Shin able to deny that scouting straight away.
Yeah, he's going to get that Viking out.
And what I find really interesting is that, remember, Shin, he went for a delayed gas opener, but he's still got link speed. He He has pulled back into gas, and he has quite a bit to work with here. We'll see if he goes layer first or into the Roach Warren. Oh, does he get supply blocked?
Of the tech lab. So, yeah, I mean, that doesn't show you anything. Terran is going to have 2 gases at that point in time.
You go first?
If he sends a Zergling out or something up to the front, you can see the 3rd command center, and that's the other way to tell. But for now, we have the Hellions.
You have my attention. +1 carapace. Single upgrade.
Is going to come down and see that CC. And from there, Shin knows it's going to be a slow game.
Yeah,
we're playing mech.
Exactly. Okay, there we go. 2 more factories coming in. I saw that double refineries is the natural expansion. I was wondering where Cure was going to be going with this, because that's a lot of gas to have early on, and it looks like we're probably going to be getting some flavor of mech. Now, is it going to be battle mech, which is all the rage right now and has been for a very long time, or are we going to get something a little bit more Maru-esque with a siege tank heavy composition?
Yeah, so I guess I was wrong. I thought you would have 2 gases then, but if that is early, then yeah, I mean,
I'm really curious to see if Shin does throw down the Roach Warren. Again, he went for an early single Eva chamber into +1 carapace. Now we do have Bailing speed on the way, or Bailing Nest. This is actually really rough for Shin, because the carapace upgrade doesn't really help too much against mech because of the burst damage that it already deals. So carapace isn't really as applicable. Likewise, no Roach Warren yet either. He doesn't know.
Coming out shortly here with Bio, it is almost certainly going to be a factory-based play, and I believe the lack of any kind of bio presence on the map right now is going to be telegraphing that here for Shin as he comes forward with 1 more lane, gets a bit of a scout off, sees only 2 Marines here on the front, and of course Cure could be hiding more in the natural expansion, but I think he's getting a very good idea of exactly what's happening, and certainly these 2 Cloak Banshees are probably going to telegraph that even.
It's also important that we're going into Half-Light Rotors. This tells us that we're continuing Banshee production to go into Mass Banshee. The goal here is not just economic damage, but also snipe some key units as well, like Banelings, like Ravagers, like Infestors. It's a new style that's been, I say new style, it's a style that's been very popular as of late, is going Battle Mech with Banshee support, with a lot of Banshees.
And so, I imagined when I saw the 3rd CC come down here that this was going to be the classic 3cc Terran play, which is going to be bio and then pushes. But this is going to look very different. So this is going to be kind of...
So Shin, he's responding, and now he's fully aware of what's going on. He's responding with Lingbane Hydra. Oh, nice catch on the Hellions. Very nice.
But, the kiting is...
But Lingbane Hydra can be a very fragile unit composition, so I will see if he can try to strike Cure before Cure really gets going, before it gets out of hand. Because Shin is cutting workers at 75.
Yeah, probably the most exciting feature of this build for me coming in from Cure is Hyperflight Rotors finishing up in just a couple seconds. He's looking to mix Banshees into this composition.
Yeah, now they're touching on it.
There's no Banshee cut just yet. And now those things, if we get a shot of the Banshees here in a moment, will be moving so quickly. It pairs incredibly well with Cyclone and Hellion. Just every single unit that Cure has is going to be moving at an incredible pace as Ling run by getting some big connections here in the natural expansion, but so far only 5 SCVs in fact going down as Kira just had the rally point perfectly set there to intercept these Lings.
Oh, nice catch.
Big connection here in the center too. Look at that, Hellions going down, but I must say, even though it feels like SHIN, he's getting these initial jumps on Cure with a run by there, the third base with a surround coming in here in the center of the map on the Cyclones, on the Hellions. The actual damage hasn't been that substantial. 5 or 6 SCVs going down. You don't really mind
I would say that SHIN, he's done quite well for himself, considering that he droned up to 85 behind this, right? Like, he is done droning. He's done droning. He's fully set up. Now he's getting ready for Hive Tech. Yes, Lingbane Hydra might not be the best composition to go up against Battlemech, but so far he's holding his own.
Long way towards slowing down SHIN.
Yeah, the Hydras come up. They're going to push those Banshees out. Shin's going to be on a 5th base here in the upper right. And so far, Kier hasn't made a dent in the position here of SHIN.
I kind of feel like he doesn't really need to, though, Tasteless. He hasn't gotten that much damage done, but with the greed of Kira's build and the powerful composition that he's building, he can play this kind of economy of scale game with SHIN. You look at the worker counts, it's a 12-worker difference, but the moment we have a 4th command center land, and of course we have those 3 mules that are going to be dropping from the orbital commands, the incomes are going to be very equivalent, and the cost efficiency for Kira with this Battlemech army, especially coupled with the Speed Banshees, is going to be keen.
So the Banshees are still roaming here.
So once again, when it comes to the unit dynamic that they're having here, there are Infestors on the way, and those are going to be a big power spike and a power unit for SHIN. The goal for Cure's Banshees here is to snipe those Infestors, to try to get them, try to snipe them ahead of time before any massive fungals do connect with the Battlemech. That's the hope, at least.
The game could completely snowball here, and Zerg could have counterattack potential and come back and really hurt the Terran.
Yeah, SHIN is really playing this with a mid-game focus in mind. More Lings, more Banelings in production. Hive Tech only just now starting at 9 minutes and 25 seconds, so a very late tech up to Hive, basically waiting until he's maxed and fully saturated on 4 bases before going for that tech tree.
Ooh, nice catch.
Actually, is that all of the Banshees?
That was all the Banshees.
There in the corner of the map. I wonder if there was like a fungal or something that we missed. Yeah, 4 Banshees going down, Tasteless.
Yeah.
That's
those
huge.
Banshees are one of the key units that you use to actually snipe the Infestors and prevent
yeah,
those
Stay now he's touching on it.
So
he knows.
A big win for SHIN.
Yeah, nicely done. The Lings are going to come around here, and they're just fast
around.
enough. We're going to have a full surround. No fungals needed. Everything from Cure is going to fall there.
Wow, SHIN is playing a great game. These last few, minutes have been phenomenal for him. Catching every single Banshee in the main base. Really limited.
Yeah, this is why I wasn't too fond of what Stay was saying earlier. Like, we were trying to emphasize how solid the early game and the early to mid game was for SHIN, and Stay was like underplaying it a little bit, saying that like, oh, but Cure, you know, he's getting a 4th base up, he's got all these mules. What's important is that, again, SHIN got away with all that droning. Now he can focus on the army, and he is catching Cure out all over the place.
It's funny, you know, because you think about Bio and they remix really fast, but honestly, Cyclone Hellion can be remixed.
Nice fungal once again.
Quickly.
Locks him down.
It's very mineral intensive here. But from now, it seems like SHIN's got to push. The Cyclones are going to try to kite, but they don't have that much more room to retreat before the Hydras and the Banelings can start to hit this command center.
Yeah, there is just so much momentum behind SHIN right now. But as you see the reinforcements here for Akira, it seems like he's starting to get some control over the situation here at the 4th base. The Planetary Fortress is nearing completion.
Ooh, Neverling Bane.
Also joining in. Banshee is going to retarget from the Hydras onto the Infestors.
Get out of here.
Akira, he's able to hold, but behind this, 86 drones for SHIN. Cost efficiency, as Mapu is pointing out, only 2,000 resources.
Mapu's observing.
When you're playing Battlemech with Speed Banshees,
I see.
You're expecting to get tons of chip damage in with the Cyclones and the Hellions. When I say chip damage, I mean you're trying to slowly shave away the Zerg army from a distance. Not really taking much damage yourself, but so far...
So SHIN has had some really good engagements. Previously, though, he did overextend. Like, he lost all the Hydras. Ideally, you want to build up your Hydra count over time. The Hydra count was reset. That does slow SHIN down. That was brutal. In favor of Cure.
Surrounds are going to come in over here. We've got some overseers headed back here as well. Can Cure maybe poke out this base?
Catching more Hydras. Gets 10 drones.
Down here in the lower left. And that, I believe, is taking out several SCVs while this top right hatchery has been saved.
Yeah, man, I'm singing the praises of SHIN right now because so much has been going so well for him over the past couple of minutes, but we look at the supplies and Cure actually still ahead. The economic...
Again, it was good for SHIN up until that fight on the southern side when he lost all those Hydras.
Another expansion, even taking down, I think, double-digit drones with an attack.
Like SHIN, he got too excited, Pat. He got too excited.
And SHIN, let's not forget that he kind of delayed a lot of his tech to try and get that mid-game presence on the map. It's one of the reasons why he was able to take those good fights earlier on in the game, and only just now do we have 5 Vipers joining the fray. The Greater Spire also finishing up here for Shin, but Cure, I mean, he's taken a bit of a beating over the past couple of minutes, but he is maxed again, Tasteless.
Yeah, he's maxed and looking fearsome. The problem is his attacks have been sort of impotent so far. They haven't really done anything. Small Ling attacks that have come in here and clean up a lot
not
of
bad.
these SCVs.
Says small Ling attack 14 SCVs.
Basically even on
It's pretty solid.
Here. And there's still a few more spots that can be filled in.
But again, Shin, he's up against the wall right now. Like, he bled out far too much. He's lost map control. And more importantly, because he lost map control, the creep, right? The creep is receding. He's barely connecting bases. He's not quite at that halfway mark. Without creep, there's nothing to really threaten the battle mech. Outside of the fungals, of course.
Nice fungals.
Oh.
The Hydra's going to come in here and try to do damage, but that hatchery makes a bit of a bottleneck.
There's so many cyclones. Where are the Lings?
Your side of the fight.
Yeah, these Lings also
Where's the support?
West side of the map. Cure just firing on all cylinders right now in the top right, taking down that expansion. Abducts now are coming in. I think a couple of Cyclones did get caught there, but with very little of a meat shield in front of Shin, it doesn't matter if you're not basically staying even on cost efficiency here with a Terran. The economy of Cure right now is just through the roof. Shin down to 63 drones, reset down to 4 bases mining. 3 of those bases are mostly mined out. GG is called. What an impressive game from Cure. We kept seeing these little tiny moments where Shin was able to snipe down the Banshees in the main base, was able to parry with a surround. The attack that Cure went for on the top right side of the map, was able to get some counter damage in with a push behind it. And I feel like I was a little bit narrow-minded focusing on those points, because in the bigger picture, Cure's economy was just incredible. And Shin, at one point, I think it was up like around 90 drones, maybe high 80s in the drone count.
87.
But Cure put on so much pressure because his economy was just relentlessly popping out these Cyclones and these Hellions that Shin, when he lost drones, he didn't feel like he had the space to remake them and catch back up with Cure.
Winding it back, again, like, the momentum shifted from one player to the other when it came to Shin's overextension, because, again, he was doing so well early on when it came to map control, when it came to counterattacks, until he overextended, until he lost his entire army. This leads into what we mentioned earlier. We spoke about how Lingbane Hydra can be a very fragile composition to work with. We spoke about this when we first saw the desired composition against mech as we were getting into the mid game, and that leads into just how expensive it can be, and one wrong move and it can just fall apart. It can just fall apart for Shin. So again, was solid up until a point. Then he lost momentum, then he lost map control, he lost creep, he lost bases, lost workers. Like, everything swung after that fight, and that's when Cure was able to kind of snowball out of control himself. GG.
Tanks with Thors, the way that we see Maru probably do better than basically anybody.
Yeah, Gumiho sometimes as well.
You're typically, although Gumiho expands faster than basically anybody with Terran,
yeah.
I was going to say that usually you're a little bit slower building your economic engine. You know, you might take the 3rd base at the same timing, but in terms of securing a 4th or a 5th, there are a lot of pieces of the puzzle you kind of want to put together before taking those extra bases, right? But when you play a Cyclone Hellion style, especially with the Speed Banshees mixed in like that, even though they didn't really pay off in that game in particular, you're a lot more tempo-based. You have a lot of presence on the map with the fast units that you've got. And
is Cyclone still bugged in this version? Yes.
You take a couple of losing fights, but you're able to remax so quickly, and because you already have that map presence, even if you do lose some fights, typically the Zerg economy isn't out of control, and also the creep spread isn't that spectacular. So they're not really able to keep building up, and eventually the reinforcements kind of put out the fires back at home there for Terran, and in that case for Cure, his economy was just way above what Shin can handle.
I'm curious if he's going to do it again in this game now. I don't know why. Maybe I was a little bit deterministic in my head about how Cure would play, but I thought for sure he was going to stick with Bio. But Mech has been very much so growing in popularity.
Oh, direct cheaper
style, which I always thought was kind of the
hello.
I don't know, maybe like a cheesy kind of gimmicky mech, but it seems like why not just stick with it? You know, Cyclones are among the easiest units to micro.
It's also that Tasteless hasn't been watching much StarCraft post EWC. To be fair, I haven't seen the RSL games, so I'm sure that would have also kind of like colored his judgment a little bit. But mech has been on the rise ever since like EWC, ever since Esports World Cup. In most matchups.
We were gonna, and you know, Zerg's always supposed to be.
Yes, 2x cheaper. We could get a 3rd Rax in the main base. True. Could commit a little bit harder.
But by the end, it was like the Zerg was shrinking, the Terran was growing, and the writing was on the wall. So I was asking a second ago, is this game going to be the same? Not at the start. It's going to be 2 racks Reaper.
Yeah, 2 racks Reaper here on the low ground.
Ooh, 3 racks.
Actually, a third barracks getting
Let's
thrown
go.
down. I love this builder choice coming in from Cure. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have many more Reapers than SHIN expects here in the early game. And Ultra Love, I don't think, in my opinion as a Protoss player, so I don't really know particularly exactly how the Reapers are going to play out. I feel like this might not be the best map in terms of being able to abuse the map features to the best of your ability with these Reapers, but in any case, it will be the build order of choice here.
So this hits harder for a couple different reasons. One, there's a ramp coming into the natural, so it's easier to wall off with these first 2 axes, as you can see here. So it's a much more secure position to defend against something like a Roach counterattack or a Bane bust. Likewise, short rush distance by ground, so you can reinforce that much faster with your Reapers, and you can punish SHIN if he cuts corners.
Change the dynamic and
I
start
think
snowballing,
you are
right?
spot on. I think the idea is that you see 2 racks Reaper and you go, okay, he's going to put pressure on, and I got to be careful because you can't actually.
SHIN should double check the main with his Overlord.
But I can do this tightrope walk correctly, right? And the reality is a 3 racks Reaper can just get a few extra Reapers in there. If the queens are out on the map too much, they can be killed. But we don't have that 3rd hatchery starting yet. Sorry, where's the drone?
The drone went all the way to the top left, and
Just came back.
mineral and is now coming back.
Is this a mistake? Was he trying to mine that and then have that?
The Overlord saw there was no expansion, so he knows it's 3 racks.
I think that SHIN knows this is coming because that spine crawler he threw down in the early game, the natural expansion.
It's the CC timing. The CC timing was a tell.
Finish. So he knows this is 3 racks Reaper. One of these drones is going to fall down, and because of that, he's deciding not to go for the 3rd base at all. He isn't taking the bait. And I think the big tell there for SHIN, he didn't see the 3rd barracks, but he did notice the very late command center coming into the natural.
Yeah, he caught on. He caught on.
From SHIN's point of view, that command center might not even have been thrown down just yet because the Overlord's all the way in the corner already. So we are going to have a transition coming in from Cure, and it will be a very fast engineering bay. Now, when you play a 3-rack style like this, these Reapers, they didn't get direct damage done, but they have been able to delay the 3rd expansion here from SHIN.
Yeah.
They effectively killed 2 drones. One of the front lines just went down to the mineral
2-base
line.
Roach? Okay.
Another one actually fell because it had to be turned into a spine crawler, right? So the economy of SHIN, it's quite fairly slowed down. And when you have 3 barracks this early and you transition from going into Mass Reaper into going Mass Marine, say we have +1 infantry weapons get queued up at the engineering bay, that could lead to a very potent timing attack at a critical junction of the game.
So
a couple of things here. 2-racks Reaper, 3-racks Reaper, they both do delay the 3rd base. It's so crucial that Cure gets into the main, because right now this is quite committed here from SHIN, staying on 2 bases. He does scan up the ramp just to confirm, dives into the main base, and he gets eyes on everything. He sees the lair, and he sees the Roach Warren. Nice scout.
Okay, immediately it's going to be 3 racks Reaper. But he's going to, Cure's diving in here now. The Reapers don't have a ton of value. When the game goes on for 2
solid
months,
value.
This is pretty genius.
He's getting a lot of damage. Gets a queen. Oh, no chance to use. Oh my god.
Sorry, SHIN thought that
that's too much.
Reapers,
that's it.
When they jumped
this is game ending.
Suddenly, it's
remember, there's no 3rd. There's no 3rd base.
Versus 2-base Terran. Terran just now getting their expansion. A ton of drones actually down in workers, and that doesn't even put the emphasis yet on mules being dropped in this process. SHIN may be in a position now where if he doesn't have a counterattack that does devastating damage, he's probably not going to be viable in the mid game.
Dude, my jaw's on the floor right now. 15 drones just died. SHIN has no queens.
Like,
he's going for a 9
tasteless. He didn't realize what was happening. Like, this is a big deal. And Tasteless like, it's crazy.
Producing injected hatcheries with roaches right
like
now.
SHIN, he has to go all in. It's all or nothing.
In total. But I'm telling
that was insane.
Even if this Nidus Canal gets up here in the main base of Cure, and Cure does spot it, he's pulling.
It's like Tasteless. You're meant to hype it up. Like, you're meant to be the guy freaking out, Pappy.
SHIN is basically just
GG.
dead. Yeah, that's it. GG. Game number 2 going to be going in the advantage of Cure, and this best of 5 is getting one-sided in a hurry.
Yeah.
I can't believe he got that much damage done with the Reapers. That was insane. The micro was perfect.
I mean, it was something to behold. I guess a lot of Terran players, when
So basically, winding it back here, the reason why they did so much damage is because, one, no link speed. Link speed is usually done by that point, but the reason why there was no link speed is because of the lair, because of the roaches, because of the Evo chamber. SHIN was cutting a lot of corners and trying to pull off that 2-base all in, which is why it was so important that Cure scanned. Remember, he did not jump up the ramp blindly. He scanned first. He scanned, then he saw the tech, then he saw everything with the scan, and that's when he committed. That's when he knew there was an opening. That's when he went for the kill. It was kind of, it was an informed decision. There we go. It was an informed decision with that scan to actually go into the main base, to go for the kill, to go for the damage.
He imagined that his main was basically safe. Totally not the case. And at the end of the day, you know, we saw.
Also, SHIN, he knew that he wasn't safe. He was gambling. He was gamba, papi. He was gamba. Also, I apologize for not opening up predictions in the chat.
It's a rare sight to see a Zerg get taken down to 30 drones that early from Reaper pressure, and the scan was just the most brilliant thing too, because
he got it.
Said SHIN with those lings at the top of the main, he felt like he was basically impervious. He's like, oh, the Reapers can't get up. I have the spine crawler, my natural secure. Let me just power up, go into roaches on 2 bases. But that was just an absolutely clutch timing.
Crazy, man. Guys, consider joining the Patreon. We've had so many of you sign up. It's been, you know, an incredible.
This is also why I was harping earlier at the start of the show that I wish that they did more with the show, because potentially we could have like an hour-long broadcast, right? It's only 2 series, and if we get 2-3 zeros, that's it. That's game. That's why it's a little bit more important to like have something more here to like, not just like to quote-unquote pad, but like to have content that's interesting, that's exciting, that's entertaining as well, that we can have together. So yeah, I mean, maybe I'm speaking out of turn because again, I haven't seen their broadcast, so I don't know if they do interviews. I don't know if they do things outside. I know they do RSL after dark. They should just do that. They're going on a break. Okay, they're cutting to a break. But yeah, I don't know if they like do other things just because I haven't seen their show yet. But I know they do RSL after dark after the end of the broadcast. They should just have that at the end of the show. Like that should just be a part of the broadcast itself, not something separate. I know it's difficult because they're beholden to their patrons, and I believe a part of the deal that they have is that I think RSL after dark is exclusive to the Patreons first. They get that first, and then it goes public. Oh. So I got some ads going, so I know that at least, but like it would still be nice if they did have like a bit of a wrap-up show sort of thing. They could break things down, maybe have something fun for the players to like indulge in as well. I'm referring to especially for some of these playoff matches when players get eliminated, for example. I don't know, you can have like we used to have back for BlizzCon, back for even ANZ Champs as well, have some like fun show matches using some of the players, right? Like 2v2, have like, what did we have? We had the micro challenges where we had Marine Split Challenge, and then you'd have all the players playing the Marine Split Challenge like one at a time, and we'd rank them and rate them and stuff like that. Like there's things you can do, right? There's things you can do. That I'm sure the players would agree. There's personalities, casters as well, like Wolf, like Valdez, like you know, some other people that like maybe esports or StarCraft 2 adjacent. Bring them on like as a guest, like just to have around like on a weekly basis. Not to cast, I don't mean that. I don't mean to bring them on to cast, but just to have them, to discuss them, to interview them. They can be a part of the casting couch in between matches as well. I say that I feel like it's back in the Crank days, because I remember we used to harp on Crank for that as well, because Crank was a streamer. He had really good English and Korean, and we'll
be here with SHIN versus Cure, and hopefully we get a game 4. It's been a 2-0 so far.
There's another guy, yeah, Surgeon.
Before the break, I'll say it again. Much different looking TV season, I thought. This is like Cure not playing like his normal self, just committing to Cyclones the whole time. And then I especially liked game 2, where he actually kind of leaned into the Reapers in a moment where I think most players would assume the Reapers are obsolete at that point and you have to go power up into bio.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and watch that one again, because it also caught me off guard. I just kind of felt like, oh, you know, the Reapers, they didn't quite do their job, but it's not a bad position here for Terran. We're building up into a timing sec later on in the game, and then suddenly the Reapers just basically do a leg sweep right there on SHIN and knock him to the floor, and that is game 2 done in a hurry, as map number 3, Persephone, has loaded up, spawning in the bottom left. It is SHIN, the lose Zerg down 0-2 in this best of 5.
Oh, they actually did the sweep.
Top left, the red Terran trying to close this one out. It's Cure.
Is there?
So I mean, I think Shin is capable.
Is there a reason why Mapu did the sweep for Shin and not for Cure?
But it's gonna be tough.
What just happened?
Because I don't think anything from
I think Mapu was more interested in the hero portrait. It looked like, but sure.
You know, normally in a best of 5.
Nah, yeah, screw Cure, I guess.
Sometimes the player will do something in the first game, and you go, "Oh, okay."
We don't need to zoom into Cure. Only Shin.
Or let me try this instead. Let me make some alterations. Let me change a little bit of the approach of the game from my perspective, and maybe I can win. But like those two games were so of their own. And you know, Cure could bring in a standard play. He could bring in a third other weird game here. So Shin is going to have to bring the ZVT of his life.
So just like game 1, Shin, he's delaying his gas. So you can see hatch, pull, delayed gas out of Shin.
I think he's going to do some kind of pressure in the middle of the map here. He just mined out 1 mineral.
Maybe,
or maybe he's just checking for proxies.
That was my.
He was just checking for proxies.
The rally points basically for this drone, the path that it took is through the most common proxy 2 barracks or 3 barrack spots.
What if he sends it again and takes out the next mineral? No, he's going to take a 3rd hat trick. Okay, never mind.
I think that, you know, the minerals...
Again, we're playing gasless. So just like last game, I mean, this is even more greedier than game 1, but you can see hatch, pull, hatch, 0 gas. 0 gas out of Shin. This is very greedy. It is abusable if Cure figures out what's going on.
I think he's just optimizing for, all right, there wasn't any barracks over there. What is the one useful thing this drone can do before coming back? And it's open.
Yeah, he sees the timing. He knows.
A little bit.
So
Mapu's pointing out.
Very, very fast 3rd base, but we don't have that kind of Reaper pressure we had before.
Yeah, he's checking.
We just have 1 Reaper to basically poke in here and
confirms.
Everything is par for the course.
So basically what Shin is doing, he's... Oh no, he gets this around! Oh my god!
Nice.
He's crazy!
Around the gas is a little bit more
nice catch.
You might think the Reaper can't slip.
So winding it back, the purpose of what Shin is doing, he's being hyper greedy by delaying his gases. That means no link speed. No link speed whatsoever. We're going to be playing on 2 bases, 3rd base just for lava for now, getting into roach play and cutting corners. A way to abuse this, to punish this, is to go 1-1-1, but Cure is once again going 3rd TC.
Does Cure take us? Is it going to be more factories? Is it going to be more barracks or what?
Yeah, and for Shin on the other side of things, the fact that
so because he's going for a delayed starport, Cure is not going to be as aggressive, but if he builds up to 8 Hellions, he can abuse Shin because there's no link speed, because there's no roaches. If there's limited SimCity, he can bust into mineral lines. But right now, there's a lot of pressure on Cure.
So for Shin, I think he's going to be very happy with this. The first gas is just now coming online, but...
Is that roach one?
Is done. We have a ton more
again, this gas style goes into roaches because you skip link speed, so you go straight into roach production, typically into hive tech, typically into ultras. So roaches first, then into ultras, or we could even go for a roach based all in.
A couple roaches on the map when the first couple Hellions start becoming a potential problem, but knowing Shin and how much he loves playing aggressively, I don't know if it's necessarily just going to be defensive. You know, there's always that room for a little bit of aggressive opportunity here for Zerg.
Yeah,
yeah, kind of what State is saying. Like, I guess I would kind of agree in the sense that we're expecting Shin to play macro from here. We're expecting him to get into a longer game, but he does have the potential to be more aggressive with roaches and to cut workers early, hit like a +1 range timing, and just send it. He has potential for that. We'll see.
Some kind of a response to something that happened after that. Like, would the Reapers come in there, and then after they were finally killed off, he went, I'm so dead. Yeah. Let's just, you know, let's do this. It's probably not going to work, but at least I can say I tried, and then let's leave the game.
I think it's basically a Hail Mary play.
Yeah.
It seemed like, to me, he was planning on getting something aggressively done with the roaches, but all ending with a Nidus network is not what I think the original plan was, as it actually will be a bio game.
Okay, we did it.
Yeah, we got
survived. We unlocked another tech tree thing. We finished it. All of our Steam unlockables are there. Okay, standard bio play for the final game. I think Shin has the best shot at this because this is what he's played the most. But I will say, I think
nice damage.
Top 3, maybe even top 2 in the whole world when it comes to this kind of.
Oh, he gets out! No, he doesn't get out.
Shin is just taking every possible W of the early game. He got the initial Reaper, and then somehow I think it's literally one kills the starting Banshee.
Yeah. which is not ever supposed to happen, by the way.
And neither of those things are supposed to happen. And look at this from SHIN, immediately throwing down 4 more Vespian Geysers. He's taking a 4th base in the bottom right corner of the map as well. Carapace has started. Once the lair is done and it's about to be finished, how quickly are we going to have the infestation pit get thrown down? Because if there was
I'm glad the state is aware.
For an ultra rush, I feel like this is probably going to be it, but we do have Roach Speed getting started.
Which is why at the beginning we called this should be Roaches into Ultras, and now he's thankfully touching on that. Oh, Hellions are going for the dive. Can he get in? Ooh.
It seems like Roaches
doesn't make
now,
it.
just for safety will be the choice. But I would love to see some fast Ultras in a game like this one.
Yeah, fast Ultras is expected here, I would say. We do have +1 range on the way, but it's standard to go +1 range, then into melee upgrades. Like delayed melee upgrades, but we work in that direction.
When the push actually happens. And there will be a push off the 3.
Yep, there's the pit. Ultras. Let's go.
These are like kind of what you'd call mainline openings if it was like a chess game. Like we kind of know how these games.
If you remember, this is how SHIN beat Clem at DreamHack Dallas. This is how SHIN popularized this style, and we've seen this become a little more popular ever since DreamHack Dallas.
It's kind of all in this first lower layer of the map.
Been very meta.
Bases tend to stick into the middle, and it creates a little bit more risk. So, you know, Cure also takes a 4th of his own, and maybe we'll see
and remember,
a
Cure, he knows.
push coming out of him because of that. And maybe it's going to be one where the Zerg has to take their 5th, and then that's what prompts the Terran. I'm
4 CC on location.
Zone, but
crazy.
That could be the kind of direction this game goes in, where it's like deep macro, everybody's upgrading, everybody's trying to just build out their infrastructure. That's going to lead to one huge crescendo at the end of this game.
Yeah, 1-1 infantry weapons and armor nearing completion right now here for Cure, and I don't think this is going to culminate in a big explosive push right now, but certainly that's going to open up the opportunity for Cure to get more aggressive on the map. 2 medevacs already heading into the main base here for SHIN. What do we have to defend? So far, not very much, and let's not forget, these Roaches,
not bad.
They're not very quick to get
Gets
back into
in.
this main base, so already 3 drones falling, more workers getting pulled. Infestor has finished up, but at the same time,
nothing in position.
Hellions coming into this bottom right
He
base.
gets in. Up.
Yeah, the Hellions are going to come through, and the drones are actually pretty well blocked there. Unless he gets one more hit off on it, doesn't look like he will. So 6 drones killed.
Not bad defense.
Not bad. Could have been a lot worse. Meanwhile, Cure's going to come here and clean out these spotter overlords. And it's still 4 base to 4 base. Zerg will be pressured to make that 5th base first. 3 overlord kills is actually pretty big. That's going to supply block SHIN for the time being.
Yeah, but I must say, it's been very well handled. Look at that. The moment the Hive is done, we already have the Ultralisk Cavern going now.
So the scary thing for Cure, or sorry, the better thing for SHIN, I would say, is that because Cure got his 4 CC on location, we know that SHIN is safe. Like, we know that SHIN, there's harass, but he's safe to take him into Ultras like this. Like, there's nothing to really threaten him.
Because that first Banshee did get taken out in the early stages of the game, and so does the second Banshee. So Cure's going to try and get aggressive still with this bio, but until 2-2 is done, I feel like he isn't going to have a presence on the map. But by the time Terran gets 2-2 tasteless, we might have Ultras with a ton of armor.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. I mean, especially if he could maybe even get like 1 or 2 fungals in here to connect with this. It's going to be really punishing. We don't see this style that often, but I think it is really strong.
We see it very often.
So this base is acquired. This is
see it very often.
Base on the map that's kind of poking out. I thought we might see a push, but SHIN seems to be setting up for a gargantuan drop into the main.
It's pretty meta nowadays.
Far removed from everything. There's like a couple roaches and lings, but a laughable amount.
Thanks to SHIN.
Size of this drop, like he can come through here and unload and wipe this pretty easily. And with the blind spot he created earlier, he's going to spring this attack.
Oh, does unload.
SHIN's army was in the center of the map, but he instantly pulled it back when he saw these
Nicely
medevacs
done.
coming into the main base. Are they going to be able to take down the Hive?
Oh, can he get the Hive? The Fungals!
They come in with a Fungal. The Fungal's absolutely massive on all this bio.
Oh my god.
And the Hive falls, but at what cost? Almost every single Marine gets taken down.
Send
Only
it, Pappy.
3 survive.
Send
He's
it.
trying to keep momentum going by pressuring here on
Keep
the right
going.
side of the map, but he just lost the majority of his forces there. And now this is the big power spike for SHIN. The Hive had basically already accomplished the objective. The Ultralisk Cavern is done. Armor upgrades are done. We don't have 3-3 started because SHIN, he's trying to get pressure done right now. 17, no, make that 21 more Banelings underway. I think SHIN's about to come in with a monstrous counterpunch. Can Cure possibly hold on after losing so much
Show
bio?
us Cure's defensive setup.
I mean, that's going to be the big
What does he
question.
show us
Hive going
Cure's
down, but I guess
bases?
The rest of the critical tech was wiped out, right? So it's not like he lost anything that he doesn't.
We need to see what he's
already
working
got
with.
This. And so the Ultras are going to come in here.
Kiting back into mines.
Looking extremely strong. We got some Widow Mines doing some damage, but I mean, there's so much HP here for SHIN to try to plow
4 ultras. Nice spread.
Not managed to
it just doesn't have enough. Not enough bio. Kindness waiting is done.
That being said, the ultras are starting to be picked off. They haven't actually breached any major position. The kiting is kind of insane. You're microing at 2 places at once.
Yeah, I love the supply depot so much there from Cure. They really took a lot of momentum out of this attack here from SHIN. Ultra and Roach on low HP, going to be trying to take down that.
He's holding.
There in the top right will force a lift off.
He's surviving.
For Cure, even the fact that he was able to survive that first wave to me is very impressive. Another Ultralisk is going to get taken out.
Snipes the Infestor.
Are coming in. I don't think we have
another Ultra's going to go down
just yet. So these Lings, they might not be packing quite as much of a punch.
Remember, these are 1 and 2 Lings. Only +1 melee.
From the natural expansion, but
Cure, he's holding.
Cure so far, he's barely holding on.
Yeah, I mean, right now SHIN is going to be pressed.
I mean, they say barely. Cure's ahead economically. Like Cure, he is ahead. He has 85 workers plus mules. He's getting a 5th base as we speak. That had to end the game. Like, that had to straight up end the game for SHIN, and he didn't. Like, he didn't kill him. SHIN is being outscaled. 3-3s finishing off for the Terran. We're nowhere near 3-3 for the Zerg. Because there's no Hive. There's no Hive back. He can't get +3 carapace.
Counterpunch that could be fatal here for SHIN.
It is crazy that Cure's been able to survive this way. He was able to get back to effectively a maxed army supply before that fight culminated, but again, losing so much bio in the main base of SHIN just for the Hive, although it is a good tech reset, it doesn't help him in the next couple of minutes, right? The Ultras are already on the board, and that's a lot of money basically down the drain. That's not going to be reinforcements for this army, and still, Cure is able to hang on.
Nice spread, very nice spread.
Coming down the ramp will get taken out. It does give way for these additional Ultras to basically eliminate this top right base and the 4th
going
base
for the run by.
Time. With a big run by coming in. So far, only 2. No, make that 3 SCVs getting taken out.
Okay, you know what? I think SHIN can push a little bit further here.
Yeah.
He's basically drawing a lot of attention here into the natural. If he goes up here to 12 o'clock, now we got a huge attack here from Cure. And I think this is the smart play, is he has to come in here and create a lot of room for himself. He's going to be hitting as these veins are
brutal
coming
mine shot.
There's ultras coming from behind, and the angle is so strong here for SHIN. More medevacs than anything else Terran has on the ground, and that's going to allow SHIN to then chase us all the way up. I'm kind of surprised we don't have a pickup here, all things considered. With the Marauders in the front, I guess actually Cure can kind of keep kiting. Yeah, you just got to try and get as much value as you possibly can with the distance between the middle of the map and this 4th base, but with more Banelings and Lings streaming in, the bio count here on the front line is really starting to thin out.
God.
Cure is still not out of this game, but it's just a handful of units. The moment those units
SHIN's done it. SHIN, he killed the 5th base top right, and he got a mineral line as well, and he shut down the army. That was close. It's very close.
The Hive snipe is actually really
SHIN is remaxed.
The Hive only just now finished again. 5 Vipers are getting started, and notably, +3 carapace here for SHIN just now began because he did not start it with the initial push on Hive. That means that there's going to be a very large window now where Cure might be able to get something done. He does have +3 infantry weapons, and that's going to make a big difference in terms of taking down these Ultras.
And Cure's
he needs time for the Vipers. He needs time.
Most Terrans would die. He actually is pretty good at just continuing to eke out damage. I mean, the stamina this guy has to keep spreading and kiting and then repositioning
very nice snipes.
Is incredible.
2 Liberators going down. Really Fungles the bio army.
And then 2 screenshots to the left.
Can he get the final biles? He can. The final lib.
Cure, you know, he looks
oh my god.
He looks soft at times. But as long as he can keep pushing into, kiting, I mean to say, into his rally point,
he'll both that time. Both Liberators. And Curie just out of steam. He's out of it, Bappy. There's nothing left. There's no more Terran. The chain fungles.
I changed my song I'm singing about that moment. But, you know, even then, I guess he almost has enough to make this work.
I know what Taste is on about. But as we mentioned, the moment that SHIN was able to break top right, the expansion, and get the mineral line, and finally get his Hive up and running, like he's back in control, right? He's back in control of the game. He has a better economy. He has more production. Now he has a Hive. Now he has Vipers up full of energy.
Cure is hanging in. he actually lifted up the main command
Up until
center.
Cure lost his 5th base, like, it was very close, though. It was crazy. It was very impressive.
Significant income advantage that SHIN has been able to build up over the past couple of
Insanely
minutes.
impressive.
If Cure can snipe this fresh base over here at the triangle expansion for SHIN, that would be a huge win, but these Lings coming in, there are just so many of them.
These are the Lings. Where are the Ultras? Where are the Bailings?
This is such a crazy moment.
That was an overextension from SHIN.
26 supply.
That was not a good fight.
And he is powered up. He's lashed back out, and that was one of the 2 Achilles heels. That
Like SHIN, we got to tighten up.
It's not on that
Other boys,
rim of
calm
the map.
down.
It's actually closer to the middle. So Cure comes in here. He slashes that base apart, and he can, basically kite all the way across the map. Now I think he's going to regroup and drop down to the other.
Okay, now SHIN, he's regrouped his army. Now he's got his Banelings and Ultras together with his Zerglings this time.
That, Cure actually watches for that, because for some reason that base a lot of times goes unscouted, even in like late game like this.
Also is Blinding Clouds.
Coming in, Fungals and Parasitic Bombs and all these Liberators, but not that much follow-up. Biles are able to take down one of them, but Cure, he retains the
Yeah, I'm not too fond of the Power Bombs. Barely any Blinding Clouds. Cure, pushing through.
Now to come in. This is Cure's opportunity
He's sending it
to creep forward closer and closer to this highly saturated base. SHIN decides he has to try and defend it. He's pushing.
SHIN down to 2 Ultras.
Those Ultras
They're gonna go down.
damage, but Cure,
He got
he's
it.
turning this game on its head.
He got
He's
it.
doing it. I think he's almost.
Oh, the Ultras are move command again.
There is not enough minerals and gas to get enough Ultras out in this moment as this base is going to fall. By the way, it might have actually.
Yeah, now we hit the blind. It's too late. It's too late, baby. GG.
Cure just 3-0'd SHIN, and it's funny. We've seen this before with Cure, where it looks like it's going to be a pretty impossible late game. Like he's lost 1 or 2 of the big pushes, and he just kind of wills it. Like he just doesn't stop. He does not give up. And you could see he re-macroed out. He pushed in there. It's funny. It looks like Cure is losing the whole
Trying to see where he's taking this.
Obelisks are picked off. They can't quite retreat. And then eventually Cure just has enough to kind of just squeeze through and take these bases out in that more central location on the map.
The latter half of that game was some of the most impressive TVZ play I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to embellish anything at all. That was downright dirty because Cure, let's rewind a little bit. He lost the initial Reaper to, I think, the first 4 Lings trying to get a drone, which he did not get. SHIN did a gasless expansion. He was so greedy. He was powering up so much behind that. And then he goes in with a Banshee. He loses it to a Queen? I don't even know if a Spore Crawler got any shots off on it. It just fell to the Queen. It got effectively nothing done. He then had only 1 more Cloaked Banshee, which also got cleaned up without accomplishing very much. And then he goes for this big drop. Yes, he does snipe the hive, but he loses the majority of his bio, or at least a significant portion of it, right? From those clutch Fungals. And from that moment on, he basically played a perfect game. If he missed any beat on production, he's dead. If he missed micros even a little bit, if he gets caught by a fungal, if the Ultras get too big of a connection, he's dead. If he doesn't have as good SimCity as he did with even the supply depots, the 3
So,
depots,
I would say that his Remax, his initial Remax against the Ultra timing was very impressive. And sniping the hive was a big part of that. Was a big part of like how he was able to take that fight, delaying +3 carapace, delaying the upgrades, delaying the Vipers as well. If you recall, the big moment when SHIN got back in control of the game was when he killed the 5th base, when he got the mineral line, when he crippled the economy of Cure, and when he got his hive back up and running, specifically referring to +3 carapace and referring to his Vipers. Then if you remember right after that, SHIN took some really rough fights. He threw away a massive wave of Zerglings. Not just that, but Cure, he lifted up his main. He lifted up his main base. So even though he lost his 5th base, he was able to regain a 5th base with his main base as well. That was a big part of his ability to keep himself going towards the end of that game, which we kind of did like overlook, or we didn't really give too much credence to. But it was really important that he got that back up and running. And from then, he did just outtrade. He just outtraded SHIN. I wasn't really too fond of SHIN's choice of going for parasitic bombs. He was parasitic bombing the Liberators, which is really, really energy intensive, instead of going for blinding clouds, which meant that the bio army could just kind of stand. I say bio army, the Marauder specifically could just stand and just shut down the Ultra, shut down the Link Bane as well. Like Cure, he didn't have to micro as much because of the choice of spellcasters there. It was a very messy fight. It was a very messy fight from SHIN when he did engage on the low ground. That was after he threw away all of his Zerglings. So yeah, Cure, he capitalized on some rough engagements and rough choices from Shin and GG. GG well played. A very impressive game there from Cure. I'll say maybe my favorite game out of the 3 so far in that series. Impressive there. GG well played.
Of course, advancing in second. Cure did advance in first, but his PvZ wasn't exactly tested, whereas Reynor had to fight through 3 Protoss players in Classic, Astray, and SOS in his group, eventually emerging in first. And I'm curious about Zoun. Zoun has had moments of absolute brilliance, especially in PvZ over the entire year. He just keeps getting stronger and stronger every time I cast him, but Reynor is just looking phenomenal. So guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, that best of 5 PvZ series, don't go anywhere.
I think it's really hard to kind of judge Zoun just because he's less active than the other players. He doesn't play in as many tournaments. He doesn't play in as many open cups. So it feels like we have to like try to gauge him every now and then to try to figure out where he is. Because I think what Sade is alluding to is Zoun's performance at Star Azagora, where he was able to go toe-to-toe with Serral, which was impressive. Which was very impressive. But in recent times, Zoun, he's been like still trying to find himself, it feels. Like I do feel like Zoun's weakest matchup might be PvZ. I think that might be his weakest matchup compared to his PvP and PvT as well. So this is going to be a rough one. And I'm hoping we don't get a 3-0. I'm hoping that we don't get 2 3-0s. And again, if we do, I'm hoping we got some extra content as well, by the way, with the caches, with the RSL pseudo involved. I'm hoping.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the RSL. We had a quick 3-0. Cure just decimating Shin. We're going to be going into Zoun versus Reynor now. Hopefully, this is a closer one.
Yeah, I got high hopes for this series. Reynor, his MVP has been really, really impressive. Even taking down Classic. Best Protoss player in the world, reigning RSL champion Tasteless, looking for the first ever repeat in RSL history. And Zoun, he's a little bit of a wild card. You never know exactly what you're going to get with Zoun.
Oh, we're smurging, Pappy. We're smurging.
He's a top 3 Protoss player in the world. On some days it feels like
Evil Hearts?
He's maybe not quite up to snuff, but one thing you can guarantee is that year by year, month by month, day by day, Zoun, he's getting better and better. You know, he keeps elevating his gameplay. This is a guy who, for a very long time, was struggling to get...
Yes. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second series, the final series of the broadcast. Again, only 2 best of 5s. Only 2 best of 5s here in today's RSL. Looks like we have our Vetoes in Killswitch, Persephone, Ultralove, Evil Heart, and Leylines. I have no idea what Evil Heart entails. I've not been able to see any matches on them, so I'm very excited to be able to delve into some Evil Heart action. I'm hoping we get to at least game 4. Hoping we can get there. Hoping we can. But yes, the smudge is real. It's beautiful. Let's go.
Okay, it's going to be Zoun here in the center right. Reynor here in the center left. Zoun has played a decent amount of slow PvZs lately. And it does feel like PvZ,
and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is.
Is in a kind of a...
It's Gamba time. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets in the chat for who you think will claim this series. Will it go the way of Reynor? Will it go the way of Zoun? Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat.
Stargate tech. You know, there's ways to basically... And, you know, Stargate tech can mean a lot of different things.
Done. We're done with it. Yes, they... It's like, and left, we go Reynor. Center right, we go Zoun. The hell's happening?
A lot of these games, it feels like...
Oh, screw Basilisk and Vitality. True. Who cares what team they're on? Who cares?
And then you get into the carriers, and then they really try to take some fights where the Zerg just doesn't trade well. And eventually...
So this is where I will talk about the map, especially because this is an older TLMC 20 map. For those that maybe who have not tuned in before, this is Killswitch. Killswitch was a part of the kind of like the cutoff. I say cutoff. One of the finalists of TLMC 20, the most recent Team Liquid map contest. Didn't quite make it into the ladder, but did make it into the top 16. And a lot of tournaments were played on this map. It is very unique. It is very quirky. We have Zonaga towers in the main base, which are blocked off by mineral patches. You have to mine through. So you have to mine through mineral patches, get into Zonaga towers. We do have these centralized slow zones. We have these towers that destroy the slow zones as well. There is so much to talk about when it comes to the map. I don't know why we're not.
Timing, as we have seen in PBZ's in RSL Season 1.
Like, this map is crazy.
As a result, kind of has to respect that. And
We got a mineral wall heading into the third and another big mineral wall heading into the northern side of the map as well. Very short rush distance by ground.
Where the Protoss player basically almost dies.
Like, there's a lot.
amount of stalkers they can leverage to win.
But sure, let's just talk about general
You move
ZVP.
across the map after defending, and you're suddenly at the Zerg's
Aye, aye, aye.
10-15 seconds. So
Like, this map is crazy.
map number 1, there is a lot of potential for aggression, but so far on both sides, very standard openings.
Yeah.
So we
Get
have that
expand
start
cybercore.
started. We'll have an idea of what kind of tech it's going to be in a little bit here. And we don't know if it's slow play or not. I think, to your point, State, you might be right. On this map specifically, this is kind of engineered to create fights early on, which I welcome. I think we had a lot of, like, hardcore macro.
See here, you can see the slow zones and the destructible towers.
If there's the potential for some kind of
Like, the third base is so hard to take on kill switch. I'm shocked this map made it through the vetoes. I'm shocked. Aggression is hyper favored on this map.
But this base is going to be tucked away in the upper left, not in the triangle expansion.
Yeah, Reynor actually taking, in my opinion, the best defensive option for an expansion pattern here.
You have to set up for it, though.
Which is he's going to be looking to mine out the mineral wall between the natural expansion and the third base. He eventually here, Zoun, not actually going to be not going to be finishing that shade. Instead goes for the cancel. Looks like Reynor is already getting to work on that mineral wall, the natural expansion, and Zoun eyes on him as we reach 330. It's not going to be the one-gate third base, the incredibly greedy economic build that a lot of Protoss players have been doing in PBZ lately. Instead, Zoun just showing a little bit more respect, playing the map. Going to be going for the second gateway and just slowly building up to that third. As far as Zoun is concerned, there is no confirmation there's even a third hatchery yet for Reynor, though he is certainly expecting there to be one. So I like this decision to play it safe.
You see, we even have slow zones going into the main base as well. It's crazy.
Yeah. And when you don't see that hatchery, there's a lot of uncertainty about the whole.
Faster Eva Chamber plus 1 melee out of Reynor.
Identifying where the third hatch.
That's an earlier Twilight Council. Wait, that's a Twilight Council without a third base. That's hyper aggression out of Zoun.
He's gonna fight it in a second. You know, there's only so many.
No third Nexus.
And he'll have to confirm.
This is either hyper early Blink or early Glaives.
But still, just seeing it gives us a piece of.
But Zoun is not playing standard.
Exactly what information he's working with. So the Twilight Council's coming.
Yeah,
and,
it's early.
To what you were saying, State, like, yeah, this is a pretty safe spot.
It's early.
We'll see if Protoss tries to attack in there or not.
What are we going for?
Zoun's
Early
taking his
Blink?
third base.
Insanely early
You know,
Blink.
we basically always have 3-base Protoss now.
Now, based on the early Blink timing, we could go up to 8 gateways and turn this into a 3-base 8-gate all-in. Regardless, because Blink is so early, Zoun, his goal should at least be to break the fourth.
Is very interesting. He went for Twilight Council before third.
Yes, State he notices.
Never see that in PBZ. And there's no Forge as well. We have 3 more gateways coming in.
Yeah.
4 more gateways. So we're
That's why I'm leaning towards 8-gate 3-base all-in.
Pro production is still continuing, but this is starting to look like Zoun is going to be going for some kind of mid-game. I don't want to say all-in because you can potentially transition out of it, but effectively all-in.
He's going for the 8-gate 3-base all-in.
Adds in additional gateways here.
Again, the early Blink was a tell.
He's going to be trying to gear up here with.
It's okay, State. You can say it because that's what it is. You can
We don't even have a
It's fine,
robo,
State.
right?
You can say
No
it.
robo,
Okay,
no
just making
Forge.
sure.
7-gate Blink.
Okay, there.
8-gate. The 8th gateway is going to be a proxy in the center of the map.
And he's going to basically create a push.
This was very popular, like maybe 2 years ago. It was very popular. I say even last year, like early Ultra Love days.
Here on the mini-map, but where Zerg's pushing, there's just no way that you can actually hold that.
Yeah, and it's critical that Reynor finds out exactly what is happening. He's getting +1 melee weapons, which is going to be very helpful in dealing with this, but up until this point, he did not know that there was going to be a proxy.
And I knows.
Alarm bells are going to be ringing. All the gateways are done here for Zoun. Stasis traps are getting deployed here in a defensive position to try and slow down. And not the best connections there with the stasis traps. I think Zoun would have liked to get a little bit more in terms of the lings. Blink not done just yet either, so a lot of these stalkers actually fall.
Yeah, gets a little stalkers.
This is a very momentum-based timing attack from Zoun. You don't want to lose any of these stalkers, so the fact that Reynor was even able to snipe a couple of them.
State, he keeps calling it timing. He doesn't want to commit to calling it all-in. It is an all-in. If this fails, Zoun will fall far behind.
A lot of this is just relying
He has to end the game.
to blink and then having a little bit of extra hull damage that you can kind of fudge if you miss micro. Fudge the micro if you're not perfect at control. He's going to come up.
Like, remember, Zoun, he's not making probes. He's at 48 workers, no forge, no further tech, no splash damage, no nothing. Just pure Blink Stalker.
Go down immediately. The creep is now going to spread over to this position, which is going to give a lot more of a runway for the next couple of attacks to come in here. The corrosive biles are going to eliminate the surface area to lay down traps and position stalkers in. And, you know, it seems like Zoun's trying to kind of slide up the side. Again, it's a lot of stalkers. Many are bruised. The hatch is low. I think Reynor
does get the fourth.
He's going to lose the third hatchery, or the fourth hatchery, excuse me, but
that's
still,
fine.
Things are not looking that good here for Zoun. I think a lot
of
this
Zoun has to keep going. Again, he's all in, Pappy. He's going to keep going.
Blink less than 10 seconds away from completion, and now Reynor potentially looking for a counterattack here at the third base. Also potentially eyeing that one gateway in the middle of the map as he re-expands to the 11 o'clock position.
Gets the Warren.
Now this is a better angle for him to attack into, although
nice
as he
point.
loses vision on the top of this ramp, not the best connections there with the stalkers. He is going to be blinking back. Vials also
Lings are going down.
Trying to retreat even more. It's a beautiful.
Can he get over the Ravagers? The Ravagers. The Surround. He's going in.
Have enough
he's not blinking.
These stars
go
are
for it.
on HP. It's actually
go for the blink.
Favor Tasteless.
Yeah, the Roach
go for the dive. Zoun's doing it.
But you can see there was no more probes made.
He's so close.
This wasn't like I'm attacking you, but I'm also trying to develop. This is really very much.
Yeah, there it is. There's the blink.
The confidence is shown with the blink in here from the stalkers. The
4 Ravagers. 3, 2, 1. 0.
Are getting a decent amount of
0 Ravagers.
Not much else here to fight.
But the Lings. Oh my god.
And, the drones, the Lings continuing to go down. Now hold on a second, actually.
Zoun, he was so close. He was so close.
I think that might have been a little bit ambitious, especially the second follow-up blink. Is Zoun just basically lost every single stalker. He has to restart now.
You know, I didn't appreciate when I saw that blink, and I thought, okay, well, he just knows he's got this. But yeah, you know, now the Roaches can be remade, so the window in which it's only Lings is going to be gone.
And one of the key reasons why Zoun was able to have such a favorable fight was because he sniped that Roach Warren. Reynor for a very long time was floating money because if you can only produce Lings, you only have so much larva, right? You can't actually spend everything. And so there was this moment where Reynor, his economy was
and Reynor, he weathered the storm. He weathered the storm. He made it.
And waiting for the Roach Warren to be there to
just needs more Lings. He'll be fine.
As a result, Reynor is once more power spiking. So Zoun maybe overplayed his hand a little bit there with the aggressive Links. And now with Reynor back up at full steam, I
still feel like he could have aggressively blinked a little bit earlier when he was pushing up the ramp initially. But Zoun, he was being very tentative.
You know,
he lost his moment. He lost his moment.
Really bad, and it kind of ended. You know, when it looked like it was at the tipping point, where maybe he could still take it, it ended poorly. The blink in like that was a mistake. When you've killed the Roach Warren, they can only make Lings. That's not when you blink it. You really want to blink on top of them when it's like Ravagers that are running away, or a small number of Roaches and Queens, and you kind of come in there with that killing blow. Instead, it's like he killed the Roach Warren, he blinked in, and now this is great for the drones and the Lings. They are right. They've literally. You've let yourself be surrounded at that point in time by melee units.
Yeah, I can't even really... the first blink in wasn't that bad, all things considered.
I would say that, again, as you're mentioning, there was an earlier timing where he could have blinked aggressively forward on top of the Ravagers, but he missed it. And because he waited so long, like that's when the Ling reinforcements came in, the boys were pulled, of course. Guts around him. And now Reynor just runs away with this. Because again, it was an all-in. When the all-in fails, like, there's a reason why we call it an all-in, Pappy. Reason why. Because it's all or nothing, and now there's nothing.
Kite with,
nothing left.
Like things are going to fall apart very quickly. You can see Reynor getting ready with these. Oh yeah, the moment there's a
big comes
in
for the surround.
Coming with a Ling's going to full surround.
Let's go.
Huge here for Reynor.
Oh my god.
This might be the end of the game here. The Stalkers are taking so much damage. They get one blink away, but there's still going to be so much more chipped away at here with the HP. You can see he's continuing to run, but he's going to basically get chased all the way back to his third base, where the Nexus and so many other units can fall. A nice Stasis Ward does stun the army.
Yeah, the Stasis Trap is buying him a lot of extra time, but Reynor just continuing to rally across the map. Another big
crazy.
Down, he knows that it's basically over, so GG is called. Clutch the defense there from Reynor. I like the idea from Zoun a lot. I feel like if we had one more chrono boost on the Twilight Council, if Blink was done when that first engagement happened at the ramp of the fourth base,
it was a really rough start to the all-in. They're referring to when I think we saw like 4 or 5 Stalkers go down.
It's not something you're going to do on Persephone or one of these more standard maps like Ultra Love. You're using that build on Kill Switch. We're not going to see that again here in this best of 5 unless there's some crazy...
Yeah, I don't know if State watched much StarCraft last year, but this build was very popular and was very common on Ultra Love because of the short rush distance by ground. So we see this build on maps like Ultra Love, on maps like Pylon, and on maps like Kill Switch. Kill Switch is hyper aggressive, so that boosts the build even further.
The idea was great. The application of the idea was pretty terrible. I mean, you know,
I'll be honest, I'm a little bit shocked that State is unaware of the 8K 3-base all-in, but just because it was very prevalent for quite some time.
Being punished at all. I mean, this is one of the scary things when the game first came out, was people, I think, imagined Blink like, oh, you're going to go from high ground to low ground. It's like, actually, you can just micro them like this, and then when you get people that are really good at it, you can avoid so much damage that you can snowball a fight. But yeah, I mean, he just took too much of a beating at the start, and even when it looked like he was going to win anyways, he did a dive Blink in there. And again, we know there's no Roaches and Ravagers being made. The tech is gone, which means it's literally going to be Lings hatching, which is what happened.
So up next, we have Persephone. Persephone is one of the more quote-unquote standard maps of the map pool. I say standard, it has its own quirks as well, for sure. But I will echo what was just said, how this all-in that we saw at Zoun, it is specialized and it does work best on these rush maps like Kill Switch, like Pylon, like Ultra Love. I don't know what Evil Heart entails. I've no idea. I've never seen that map before, so I can't really speak too much on that map. For now, Persephone.
That economy only producing Lings, right? Especially with the Queens being engaged relatively early on there at the 4th base. I'm not sure how many were actually able to inject or how reliable the injections were, but in any case, Reynor with a clutch defense right there, taking the favorable early engagement, and then fantastic crisis control.
We're going in.
After the push into the natural expansion, able to take game number 1 as we move on to map 2. It will be Persephone, Zoun the blue Protoss in the top left, Reynor the red Zerg in the bottom left.
So
best I can do.
Is Zoun going to have a cleaner game here?
Time to 3-0 so I never sees that map. I want to see it. I want to see Evil Heart. I want to see what's going on.
We could go, like, resume from
Show me the map back. I want to see.
The adjustments. I think maybe he does win there. But it is kind of a bad sign. The shakiness on that alone is worrisome. You know, I think sometimes when people think of StarCraft, and I think I'm actually one of the people at fault for this, is they think too much of APM. They go, this guy was going so fast, and they imagine that what StarCraft is just a game where you're doing everything really, really fast, and that's how you're good, is you're doing a whole bunch of things at once. And that's true, okay? But the reality is when you're a really good player, you're actually making very, very specific decisions about tech, about expanding, but also about micro. Like, okay, when do I attack? It's not just like I have to attack quickly and I have to be fast. You actually have to attack when the blink upgrade is done. You know, and that was a moment where I almost feel like Zoun was just like going through the motions so quickly and wasn't, you know, checking to confirm that it's the time to make this move. You know, even the blink in, where he surrounded everything with that. Look, that's a fine move, but he didn't even analyze the situation correctly for it to happen. In fact,
I don't think game 1 is indicative of how the rest of the series is going to go, just because that build was so specific, and just because that situation, that game was such a, again, specific all-in that we're probably not going to see, except for another specific map for sure.
I'm worried about him here in game 2. He's going to have a much cleaner game.
And I love that point that you make about APM too, because I feel like this is
see, I don't know if that's like applicable here, but sure, I guess.
StarCraft 2 for a very long time, but I feel like this is a misconception of a lot of folks that aren't as clued in or as locked in with StarCraft 2.
I get what Tastes is saying though. He's basically saying that like the decision making and the judgment that Zoun showed in game 1 left much to be desired. Early Twilight Council, by the way.
It's always irked me a little bit. It's a very
we're going for a Twilight Council opener. Okay, Zoun, let's go. Show us what you got. Glaives or DTs? Mapple knows.
Finally, you can unlock your potential.
So, looking at the gases, we can determine whether this is going to be Glaive Adepts or whether it's going to be Dark Templar. We have to pan to the gases first. Reynor has yet to go into the main base, so Reynor has yet to confirm. Neither have we.
They've already unlocked the potential, and so the game less becomes about speed and more becomes about what is the best choice in terms of how do I move my units?
He's staying in gas.
What is the best plan in terms of build orders?
We're thinking Dark Templar.
Series. What tactical choice do I make?
Show us. Oh, he's going for Glaives.
Is he choices are the interesting part.
He's staying in. Okay, couple of things. If he's going into Glaive Adepts and if he's keeping 3 and 3 in gas, 6 in total when it comes to mining, this could be Glaive Adepts plus DTs, or it could even be 6K Glaive Adepts instead of 4K.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually not hard to have high APM.
So we need to see the gases. Show us the gases.
And you go, Yeah, they're tough. They're MMA fighters, but that's not why.
Also, Tasteless and State, they're off doing their own thing. With the things are going down. This is crazy.
They know when to use them.
Show us the asses.
You know how
is it committing?
Some of that's my fault.
Or is it just floor gate?
Days of StarCraft 1 when I get interviewed by press.
Pan to the main.
Or other people. If
he still has to. I haven't seen the gas guys all the way on the left though. So far it's 4 gate, but he's staying 6 and 6. I think.
A minute, yeah. It kind of made this thing sexy. That was otherwise.
So we have Glaives
like
first. That's true, but we have a lot of gas to work with.
Like another feature of the game. And then when StarCraft 2 came out,
and again, Reynor, he's not gotten in.
Into the game, and
he doesn't know yet, Bab. He doesn't know.
APM and stuff like that, and it just became kind of a marketing point. Even in the game, like with one of the voice packs, it'll be like, "Oh, you're under attack. Time to up your APM," and it's like, that's not how this game.
Okay, he's staying 6.
But yeah. So just wanted to kind of point that out here. To talk about this game for a second, because we're about to get to the most important part.
They're like, "Oh, yo, the game is playing." Yes, it is. It is.
And it's gonna not be
Stay
that
toastless.
again here.
Yeah, and notably, we have a single lone sentry in this War Prism.
Safety Roach one.
Planning on going for a big shade, potentially either into the main base
the
or
sentry.
to a point where you can utilize
That's cheeky.
Completely lock Reynor out. But we've seen Reynor time and time again be so clutch with a defense. He is very fast going for the wall in right here, just instantly locking in that decision. Now Reynor, I'm not sure if he's going to be expecting
let's go!
This.
He's going for it! He's going for the force field!
Like
let's go! He shades in!
Right, so the shades, they can move through the force field right now.
He
so the lanes
shades!
are not in position.
Oh my god!
In fact, all the adepts able to get on top of the ramp. The prism does fall, but the sentry stays alive, man. What year is this? I feel like
he has another force field. He can keep going.
A little bit misplaced.
He can keep going.
Right now is the unit blocking the gap. Second force field is going to lock that down and the main base. Oh man, these drones, they are locked in a cage with a lion. Look at these adepts go to work.
Zoun, he's crazy. Now we see what the extra gas was for.
Only 8 have been killed.
And he's going for Immortals behind this.
I think the force,
he's not expanding.
Called it a force fielder, is out of energy.
Yeah, it finally does get taken out, but they basically
13 drones. The spawning, he doesn't get it.
Wiped out, and
the
now the adepts have
pool.
shimmied their way with the shade down into the third base. The third base getting vacated of drones, or maybe it was already, because there's nothing to be found here. Reynor all the way down to 30 workers. This is a really cool tactical move from Zoun.
That was
How
wild.
Often do we see somebody go for a delayed adept attack like this, kill these drones, and lose all the adepts?
But again, I was curious what the extra gas was going to be for. I thought it was going to be extra gateways or a dark shrine. No, it was for the sentry and for the immortal blink follow-up before the third CC. Oh, sorry, before the third Nexus.
We're going to have a sentry immortal Glaives follow-up push that could absolutely have kill potential. What a cool build from Zoun.
I love it.
That was sick.
So smart. And I thought maybe when Reynor had the Evos set up there to block, he might be ready to kind of deal with this perfectly. But, I mean, Reynor got hit so hard. I don't want to call it too soon because we already did see Reynor, looking like he was on the verge of death and kind of power through it.
I mean, if Reynor looks the spawning pool, I think that would have been game, for sure.
Zoun there. But this looks so straightforward, right, from Zoun. Like, you've got Immortals. You just need a War Prism to come in here with this mix. You're going to have Blink.
Yeah.
The Adepts are going to pair well with
now he's going for the kill.
Army, and you've got enough sentries with this.
Oh. Gets delayed.
Force fields, you can do Guardian Shields. You
force warp in defensively.
Fighting force here at the
no War Prism.
Minute marker.
Oh.
I love what Zoun is doing right now.
He gets it. Oh my god.
Immortal specifically, but up until this point, are we going to get back in time with the main army?
No, the Prism's too late.
Let's get taken out. But up until this point, the movement was
barely too
in the
late.
Center of the map because Zoun, he was kind of testing the water. He wasn't really ready to move out.
Down to one Immortal. That's huge.
He was. And as
he's
a result,
taking.
Reynor, look at his worker count. It is barely inched above what it was before because he's basically felt like he needs to pump the gas on producing units this entire time, and that gave Zoun a couple of extra minutes where suddenly Reynor, his economy, it's not going to grow past this point. It is way behind.
Okay, nice. Very nice force fields.
Okay, some nice shots come in.
Wiles like Crazy Army. Gets surrounded.
I don't know, man.
Jesus.
I mean, is this really enough here for Protoss? I think the angles were so bad.
Yeah.
The
surround.
In the game, but the army's going to be recalled.
Ay.
And Reynor, he's just so good at brushing off these bad positions.
The pants were down, Pappy. The pants were down.
The Immortal when it was
he got surrounded. He knew where the army was as well. Remember, he was aware of the links towards the top side.
Zoun thought he had a launching pad
he knew.
For an attack. Reynor is just so solid.
Oh, I've got a big frown on my face. I feel like things were going so well for Zoun up until that point, but A bit of a botched engagement, and suddenly Reynor is back in this thing, man. He's up to 52 workers, so the economy is mostly equalized. I don't think Reynor has enough to actually push through this position.
No!
So Enki! There, but we are back. And Reynor, yeah, he is going to retreat.
Stay with us.
Now, it's still a pretty tough spot. These Blinks forwards are going to potentially take down a lot of Ravagers.
Okay.
The Ravagers are just not great at retreating.
Nice snipes.
Especially when the Blinks come in there. And did Reynor overextend? The counter punch is going to come through here. You know, Stalkers are so great, not just at microing back, but you can keep blinking forward.
Yeah, back and forth. That's a lot of roaches going down. A lot of Ravagers as well.
A larger army supply right now here for Zoun as he's continuing to pick off one by one these roaches.
Yeah, and I feel like the push that's about to occur now is basically what the initial push should have been, as Zoun's army is just through the roof in terms of value. Reynor really feeling the pain of that hindered economy early on as Zoun blinks forward. Reynor recognizes it is over, and we are all tied up 1-1.
Really back and forth games here. I think you got to be very careful how far you counterattack in a moment like that, right? Between a warp.
That was a crazy game. That was crazy. Honestly, really cool build out of Zoun because, again, we cast StarCraft multiple times a day, every single day here. I don't think I've seen a variation of Glaive Adepts with a sentry like that. Where you go into Glaives, you shade, you throw it in the force field, shade does go through a force field, so you can just go easily through, dive into the main base, and just pull your opponent apart. That was very impressive when it came to the build of choice. The aftermath of that was a little bit shaky. Again, Zoun getting caught in the main base, sorry, in the surround in the center of the map was brutal. Zoun losing everything, and then Reynor also, you know, overextended as well. But that was also partially because Reynor had no economy. Reynor, remember, he had 46 workers, he had a very low economy, very low drone count, so all the losses that Reynor was sustaining there was that much worse for Reynor because he could not sustain those losses. So a little bit of a different dynamic there. In the end, Zoun did overwhelm. GG, well played. Crazy build out of Zoun.
That was kind of like lightning in a bottle, with those Adepts getting into the main base with a force field, and Reynor, we have seen him both in Game 1 and Game 2. He will punish your mistakes if you do make them, so bit of a shaky start there for Zoun in this series, but hey, 3 games left to play.
Okay, guys, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this best of 5, currently tied up 1-1.
So when it comes to these games so far, what I'm most excited about is what Zoun is best at. If you're watching, we spoke about this in GSL Season 2, in the most recent season of GSL, regarding Zoun, and that is that Zoun, he was so prepared for his series, for his hero series. Remember, he cannon rushed the hell out of hero. It was crazy. It was great. Zoun was so cheesy. He was so cheeky in GSL. If you missed it, I highly recommend checking out the VODs. But again, like, he was very clearly prepared for every game, and we're kind of seeing, we are seeing that here for RSL, where Zoun, what do you have for Game 1 on kill switch? Well, kill switch favors aggression on both sides, to be fair. It went for a 3-base all-in, went for an AK 3-base all-in, which makes perfect sense on kill switch. Here on Persephone, what did he go for? He went for, again, early Twilight Council, 2-base glaives, 4-gate glaives in towards that sentry. Crazy specialized build. Again, both games so far have been very intentional out of Zoun, with some success, with some failings. I still believe that he could have even won Game 1 if there was a little bit better execution when it came to how aggressive he was being with his stalkers. I do think there was an earlier timing available to him as well. So definitely a little bit lacking when it comes to the execution. There were some mistakes were made, but overall, like, he has come in with specialized builds for Game 1 and Game 2. I'm hoping that trend continues. I'm hoping it continues coming into the rest of this series, and I'm hoping it continues into Evil Heart as well. So we'll see if Zoun ever plays Standard. I don't think he will, to be honest. I feel like if he plays Standard, that's where Reynor does his best. I feel like Reynor, he thrives against Standard Protoss players. There are certain maps that favor Standard play, so if we load into, like, Tokamak, for example, I think that's a good example of a map where we could see Zoun just play Standard and go into Skytoss for sure, 100%. But on these other maps, like, yeah, Zoun, he's prepared, map. He's prepared. Let's go. And Reynor, what's Reynor been? He's been in the Rift. He's been lost in the Rift, Mappy. Oh no. Yeah. See, this is also why, if you remember earlier, we were discussing about how it feels like we're lacking a bit of content here. I would have loved to have heard like some pre-game banter or pre-game interviews before this. Again, it's only 2 series tonight. Like, there's not a lot of StarCraft to be had. You know, just give us the content. Give us the just the flair from the players as well. And I'm hoping we at least get like a post-game interviews. I would love to hear about some of these builds as well. Like, this is where, even if Zoun were to lose, I'd love to hear about the preparation involved coming into this. Like, regardless. or even hearing from Reynor about facing off against these crazy builds. But regardless, we're going to be going on a break, going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we will have the rest of the series. See you soon.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We're going to go into Game 3 here with Zoun versus Reynor, and I don't know. I mean, there's been some misplays here on both sides for sure. It seems like Reynor, honestly, when I saw that round, I thought this was going to go all the way back. To the third base and ended, but not the case. The overextension was punished.
What a way to bring us back in.
Exactly.
And welcome back, everyone. Yo, these guys, they're not playing well. What?
It's been an interesting series. I feel like both in game 1
What?
just excellent.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the series, second half of the RSL. We've had, again, some crazy and interesting builds out of Zoun. As I mentioned before, I would love, or I am really curious to see what else Zoun has to offer as we get into game 3, 4, and 5. Do we go the distance? Do we go all the way to the ace match? Does Reynor continue to smudge? Does he dim the lights? Does he delve further into the darkness? Have we reached peak smudge, or will he go further? If anyone's going to make him smudge harder, it's going to be a Protoss. True. Unironically.
Exactly perfect. I'm hoping that here by game number 3, as Ultralev is finally loading up, Zoun is going to have settled in a little bit and is going to be executing the way that we all know that he can do, because so far the build orders have been so cool.
They have.
And really creative.
I agree.
Yeah, this has been a lot more of a poppy PvP than the kind of slow cook I thought it was going to be from Zoun. Will he do something like this again? I guess we're going to find out.
I'm a little surprised that Tasis would say that, just because, if you remember, I made reference to Zoun being very similar to this during GSL. Like in GSL, for his prepared matches, he was also hyper cheesy or just hyper specific with his builds and came out with a lot of unique stuff.
And I wonder, to put myself in a Reynor's shoes, what kind of adjustment you make against a player like Zoun, who is just doing these kind of unorthodox strategies both in game 1 and game 2, because it feels like the timings are hitting so quickly, and Zoun has been doing a pretty good job of telegraphing something else. Like in game 1, the only till I can think of, which I'm not sure whether Reynor was either was keyed in on it or not, was the third base timing. He built it really late. It was after the Twilight Council started in game number 1, and these are very specific things you have to scout for. It's like the Nexus going down 15 or 20 seconds later, where it's like, okay.
Yeah, they're kind of going through it. They get in there. They get in there to the fact that, again, Zoun has been having some very, very specialized builds so far in both games. We'll see how that trend continues. Hoping it does.
That is not an easy task.
Reynor's S2 King of Smudge. Oh, no. If you,
So in this game,
if you were watching WTL, the last 2 seasons of World Team League, that's where you can see the Kings of Smudge, right? Like,
I don't think Reynor will do anything.
there's quite a number of players would embrace and even turn off the lights and embrace the darkness as the series would continue. Infamously so. Reynor, he's not there yet. He's not there yet.
Game 2 wasn't an all-in, I guess, but it was basically designed to come in there and do enough damage that the Zerg is.
That was the best part of WTL. All the player cams. All the player cams.
But anyways, you get what I'm saying. A lot of these timing attacks, pushes, or kill moves like the Stalkers in game 1.
No warp gate cancel from Zoun just yet.
Ooh, Twilight Council opener.
You would do that if you're going to be
Let's
going
go.
for Stargate, and instead he's just going to allow the warp gate to continue
Yeah.
researching on and go into the Twilight Council. If Reynor had his eyes on the cybernetics core, he could have spotted that.
Now, once again, we are looking for the gases, right? We're looking at the gases here. Last game, we stayed 3-3 in gas. It led into 4-gate glaives, into the Sentry support, into something more committed, into the Robo Immortal Blink on 2 bases. Here, we're leaning towards DTs or glaives again.
The first adept with a Robo. Huh.
Yeah. I didn't think we would have this again.
Not the same build yet. Show us the main.
It's going to be glaives.
Show us the
Running it
main.
Back. This Stalker is
What are the gases? Okay, 3-3.
Sometimes it says, I really can't let you scout me here. Like
Okay.
sometimes if you see a Stalker early on, in a situation,
So if we're keeping 3-3 in gas, either this is going to be the same build, or it's going to be glaives plus, as we mentioned before, it's either glaives plus extra gateways, glaives plus DTs. Like typically you don't need this much gas to go 4-gate glaive adepts.
at the start. It's like, why would you?
So Zoun has my attention. Oh, going for the sentry. He's doing it.
Wait, are you not supposed to do that?
He's doing it again.
Is that bad?
Well, not if you're trying to hide something. But
He's making the sentry.
Like in StarCraft 1 and plug it up. But you know, when you get a like, see how the stalk.
Ironically, Dark always had a bright dungeon. He did. He did.
It's the same idea. So the Glaives is coming. The Adept is on the way here, and we've got some gates. Does he do the sentry thing again? Or
He does.
Is this? I'm sorry, was there a sentry made? Did I miss
it's already
this?
been energy recharge
yeah, it's
too.
on camera. What am I saying? I'm like looking at the production tab. I'm like, I don't see anything there.
You must be terrible at Where's Waldo, Tasteless.
Awful.
You gotta practice those games more, man.
He haven't
Early
found
Roach
any
Warren.
page of the book. So
Okay, so earlier Roach won at a Reynor. He is playing safe.
I'm kind of stunned that we're having the same strategy twice.
It is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's see.
We call it DT follow up.
We have a Dark Shrine now coming in. I think
You thought I was crazy when I brought it up last game and it didn't happen. This is why we have the extra gases.
Sides on this because if he goes for a
So this is a different variation.
the Zerg may react incorrectly and assume that this is going to be, you know, one of these.
So like, why did Light talk about DTs in game 2? What's he talking about? Because it is a common variation if you stay in gas. It's common.
I wonder if he's going to park one of them in the main base near that ramp. That would go a long way to try to parry a potential Warp Prism into the main base. Zoun is going to be canceling the first shade there, the natural expansion, instead eyeing the third.
Okay.
The architecture of the map makes it a
Again, I love this. So Zoun, he's trying to force an overreaction to deal with the Adepts. Thankfully, there are safety Spore Crawlers. True. There is detection.
The distance even to shade is much further. The Spore Crawler and the 3 Queens.
And again, there's a Spore because Reynor knows that DTs are a possibility when it comes to a follow-up. Like Reynor, he knows as well.
Looks like he will Tasteless.
Yeah, he's going to shade.
Oh, nice around.
How many Adepts are going to survive this?
Ooh.
Not actually more than I thought. I thought actually.
Okay, he gets in. Warp it is the main. The force field. He's doing it. But the Ravagers.
We do have 3 Ravagers.
Yeah,
already
Ravagers are ready.
So Reynor is prepared to bile this down. That's going to be basically putting a timer on the force fields.
He
A lot
forced
less time to work with.
the
Still,
force
he's able to take
fields.
down the Queen. He's getting to work on the drones. Now already 7 have fallen. That Warp Prism barely surviving. Not as big damage done as we had in game number 2.
No
but
Spore in the
still
main.
Pretty good. Are we going to have a recall out, actually? I feel like that would be a smart play in this instance. Maybe a little bit too late for that now. The Ling's already getting on this
Biles
position.
connect. Shades into the
Some
mineral
more
line.
attempts in
More
here
drones
now.
going down.
4 is enough to easily one-shot drones.
Oh, he's gonna run into spores. Quick reaction. Ooh, that doesn't. Oh my god, that's crazy. Oh, he's crazy. Oh my god.
There on camera. Maybe frustrated with the way this game is going. and
Wow,
the
he can kill the third.
Dude,
He can kill it.
So tricky.
He can
over
kill
the
it.
course of this series. I don't even think
Oh,
we have a
no.
layer. I think that Spore Crawler needs to come in from the natural expansion to the third.
The Spore could just
but
be
it's already
sniped.
half HP, Tasteless. That hatch is going to go down.
He's going
Behind
for the
it, Zoun is
Spore.
powering up on 2
No.
bases.
He's gonna
He
try to
gets
get
it.
Yeah, there's no way this thing can burrow here. I think this position's lost. I don't even know if the Spore
Yeah.
should have been brought.
He's
Zoun
done
is
it.
a real Protoss Protoss. This feels like
Yeah.
watching an SOS game or
He's a
something for
people's
years.
Protoss.
Such a good dirty cheese. And really, you know, the execution with the attack was pretty good by.
And remember, this is not an all-in. He called it a cheese. This is not an all-in. You do expand behind this.
Now, is there another Spore up here? Because I know he.
You
blocked
expand behind this, and then you can turn this into Archon drops.
He made 3. Yeah, there must be
Okay,
here
yeah, there's one
somewhere.
here.
But he has to use files to defend.
Oof.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is.
He wants it. He wants the Roach
The lair
Warren.
only just now started.
Remember, there's no lair. There's no detection. There's
That's
other miles.
your only Spore Crawler. If the DTs somehow get on top of it before it can burrow,
Yeah,
it's
well,
game over.
Exactly. No, I mean you're in some ways incentivized to keep it where it is. I was even surprised to see the one Spore scramble down the base. So you know the biggest mistake from Zoun, and I know he's like very much won the situation in this game, but he did lose that Warp Prism. So the second Warp Prism is out. Blink is on the way.
That is
Now,
something
you know,
that is
each of
slowing
these
him down.
games, It's funny because we kind of.
If he had kept the Prism alive, this Archon drop would have been faster. So this Archon drop was delayed.
Like a minute later, like in game 1 we said Zoun was probably going to win, even though he had a shaky start of the attack, and then he overextended. In game 2, Reynor looked dead, and then Reynor shut down the attack, and then he overextended. So let's see what happens in game 3. Right now, Zoun looks to be just doing Archon drop harass.
Some of the Tasteless is leaving out is remember that Reynor had sustained brutal economic damage, which is why when he overextended, he died because he had no economy to sustain himself.
Yeah,
Like there's like a caveat to what happened in game 2. As we hunt down more Overlords, that's one Overlord going down already, getting 2.
Dots of these Overlords scattered across the map. 3 of them have already been picked off. And Reynor's trying to make roaches right now. They're the most supply-intensive unit in terms of cost in the game.
Wow.
This is
Zoun doesn't even have to attack right now. He could just chill in macro, but he's going for it. He wants to kill.
Yeah, this should be fatal.
Oh, the Biles, another prison! Oh my god!
Wow. But the question
He
is,
takes the Biles to the face.
So much damage here. It is a congested push.
But Zoun, he has enough. He has enough anyway. Kind of.
But there's
Oh, the Moles are attacking drones.
Stalkers in the front, 17 now, almost 20 drones go down.
Yeah, he breaks through.
I think we're going to see Reynor tap out here. Zoun is going to take the lead 2-2-1.
Man, really tricky game coming in from Zoun. GGG is called. And I have to say, the execution from Zoun looking a lot better there in game number 3. Yeah. And he's keeping the same trickiness. These have been 3... I don't want to say very different games because game 2 and game 3 ran parallel up until we had that Dark Shrine transition coming in from Zoun, which also caught Reynor off guard. But if Zoun continues to execute like this, and if he has a couple more builds like this with potential branches like we saw from game 2 to game 3, adding in the Dark Shrine and the DCs going into the third base was a fantastic addition. This could be a dangerous series here for Reynor.
What I loved about Game 3 is that Game 3 was predicated on the success of Game 2, right? The build was made to look just like Game 2 with the added flair of DTs. Even if it wasn't for the DTs, he was still getting a lot of damage. Like, he was still killing drones, he was still wreaking havoc in the main base and the natural as well. The DTs was kind of like the cherry on top, where he was able to catch Reynor with his pants down. The Queens were able to respond, but the Queens got targeted down immediately, and that was game. That was game then and there. So again, Zoun coming in with, again, like a really well prepared series. Like that's what I want to keep like bringing it back to, and that's what I'm loving so far out of Zoun's performance here tonight. Is it does feel insanely prepared as an overall best of 5, which is why I'm excited to see what is coming up ahead of us coming into Game 4 and potentially even Game 5 as well. Because I'm not expecting like macro play at all, but it depends because hey, what's up next? Evil Heart. I have no idea what the hell that map is. I have no idea. Let's find out together.
Was very good from Zoun in kind of a tough position given how far he really had to shade to get in from the third base to the natural to the main base and then back into the natural.
Reynor's life better be off now. The Italian rap better be playing.
They got punished. We didn't have a lair. It was only
the Italian rap is going to be blaring, Papi. Let's go. Let's go.
You don't really expect a DT follow-up to a build like that one, but Zoun made it work. And how many more tricks does he have up his sleeve?
Reynor's cam's going to turn on. The only light is going to be his laser eyes. It's going to be this light from the screen, like flickering off his glasses. True.
I mean, there's been a theme here, right? It's been I don't want to play.
From WTL, I remember Gong Fu Bandit being a Smoge legend. Who else was very Smoge? Migs, of course. Migs, he was the Smoger, 100%. Gotta get the hoodie up, Papi. Gotta get the hoodie up. Scarlet was a heavy Smoger. I remember that when a series was not going well, Scarlet would literally turn off every light in her room. Turn off all the lights and just be enshrouded in pure darkness. Oh, no. Who else comes to mind? I feel like some other Terran players were big Smurges as well. But yeah, Migs and Scarlet do come to mind.
He had to play ZVP last week, and now here he is against another Protoss player. I would look at that and be like,
Lambo did the same. Lambo. Yeah, no, yeah. I remember. Lambo, true. Lambo as well.
It's looking peak right now. This performance has been top notch, and then Zoun just kind of rug pulls it. Yeah, over and over and over again.
I want to say Estrella. I think we've seen that from Estrella as well, especially during WTL because that was like really early in the morning.
It's kind of crazy just seeing, it's frustrating for Reynor here. The way the series has gone so far, we've never seen the macro game from Reynor. It's always been like a Zerg that has either been stopped or almost been stopped here by the explosive stuff from Zoun here. I think we're going to be hopping into this game in a second.
Reynor apparently is fighting a mutalist IRL.
There's a fucking fly that keeps jumping on me, and I can't catch it.
I noticed that during game number 3. He was like doing this thing. He was like trying to swat something away.
Oh,
so
oh my god. Yeah, that's always the worst.
Reynor, he's battling a muta right now. Oh no.
I've had that moment sometimes when I'm online.
Show us the battle, Papi.
In Korea in the summer.
Show us the fight.
Right? And my opponent will pause. So bad. And I'm a nice guy. I'm not a trash human being. If my opponent pauses, they don't need to explain themselves. We can chill for a minute.
The same.
I will give you the moment. But sometimes it goes on like 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay, bro, what is going on? Yeah. And then the moment they say Mogi, like Mosquito, I'm like, dude, you got all the time. Kill that thing. I don't care if it takes 10 minutes. Mosquito
Mogi,
has to die.
The Korean word for mosquito. We didn't have that many mosquitoes this year, actually.
Yeah. It might signal a climate crisis, but my skin is grateful. I haven't been very itchy. I think I've gotten literally one bite this entire year.
Those nights when you're trying to sleep in Seoul, the summer heat is hard, and then you get a mosquito that goes in your ear, and you go, well, that's it. I'm going to have 2 hours of sleep tonight.
Yeah,
you turn the lights on in your room, and it's just bright, and the mosquito is not anywhere to be seen.
Yeah, Zoun also saying, we can wait, dude. Kill the fly. It's fine. Yeah, I remember my very first night in Korea. I remember I think I had just turned 19. I flew in like on my birthday. It was September 24th, and it was me and Illusion. We had just flown to the Startail House to train for the WCS 2012 Global Finals, which we'd both qualified through WCS America. And we're staying in this bunk bed in the Startail House in this very tiny room. And it's hot as hell. It's September. The summers are so hot and humid in Korea. If you've ever been to Florida, it's very similar to Florida in terms
muggy,
of climate.
Yeah, very muggy. Yeah, go ahead.
We're so claustrophobic. There's no air conditioning in the room. We open the window because, of course, right? Like at least the night cold is going to come in. It's still going to be humid as hell.
You're from like perfect.
I'll leave the screen open and everything in California too. No bugs are going to get in there. Maybe a spider or something, but yeah, we left it open. There was no screen. We woke up. I counted. It was over 24 mosquito bites on me. I went to the hospital. I literally got sick. Illusion was the same way. We were just completely covered in mosquito bites. And we went to like the coach and we're like, what the hell? He's like, did you leave the window open? And we're like, yeah. He's like, you guys are fucking idiots.
So
Close the window.
What are you doing?
But yeah, like it was.
See, I came from Kansas, so I was
like,
was
crazy.
We've got mosquitoes there. We've got all the bugs.
I remember the second day.
The things that bite you in the night.
I went to the convenience stores, and mosquitoes are such a problem that you go to any convenience store in Korea and you can find the mosquito spray.
Yeah.
I walked in. And I gas the room. Like I close the door and I stick it only in my arm and I spray everything down. And I close the door. I use the whole can. And when I opened it back up again, the floor is just covered in mosquitoes. It was the most. Oh, it was terrible. I hated it. Anyway, yeah. Reynor, he's killed the fly, guys. We're going.
He got it. He got the fly.
Evil Heart.
Let's go.
Mosquito trauma is
just Mosquito Heart.
Reemerged, dude. I'm getting like my adrenaline is pumping right now, flashing back to this.
I was gonna say we're a little bit lucky here, at least in this part of Australia, where it's not very humid. So I didn't think I've ever had to deal with that. I'd imagine up in Queensland, it's more of an issue, as it's a little rainforest up there. I'm sure it's more of an issue when it comes to the humidity.
To force the hatchery to go to where.
But okay, we're on Evil Heart. Let's go. Short rush distance by ground. Okay.
You know, him doing a little bit of controlled play, but I also.
Yo, this third base is open. The hell?
Some kind of way to dictate the course of this game by forcing this second hatch at the third base.
This map is like all in city. Look at how open that third base is. Unless I'm crazy, like it's. There's like 3 ways into the third.
It is really not very far. And additionally,
and State's pointing it out.
Has by far the fewest bases of any map I've seen in Legacy in the Void.
Yeah.
And like the entirety of the expansion, I want to say, which is like half the life cycle of
like short rush distance by ground is short, very open third bases. This screams all in. The map, I mean.
I think dating even back to the early stages of Legacy.
I kind of welcome this.
Yeah, me too.
I think you need to have these maps that sort themselves out and bring the game to a direction. Not all of them, but, you know, I think it's good. I think we had some of these in ASL 2 years ago.
I want to see a big pan to the third. Like, I only got a glimpse of the third base, but it looks crazy.
Kind of form themselves
and the fourth base is really far, at least if you go for the northern fourth base. If you go for the southern fourth base, I think it's a little bit easier to defend.
So this is going to be a fun one to cast and see exactly how it's going to be approached.
We might just never get a fourth.
And, you know, I guess when you're a Zerg player, one fear with this is that you don't have the elasticity of a crazy endless late game, right? You don't have bases after bases after bases to try to pressure, fumble, recover, expand, because, you know, you will have actually filled up your position pretty fast. And there is this inverse in the game where, you know, Zerg's trying to grow quickly.
Twilight Count's opener. So once again, Twilight Count's opener down. I do like this on this map specifically. Once again, we'll see the gases. Does he go 4 gate glaives into a third base? Does he commit on 3 and 3 with 6 in total? Does he go into DTs again? We'll see. Does he go 6 gate glaives?
On the map, and it's always on their side of the map. And so a lot of games do come down to that.
Show us what you got.
Way, another Twilight Council coming in from Zoun. Robo. I was going to say we're not getting the Robo, but this time we are.
Ooh, we're going to get the Robo state.
Is this going to be the same build
Only
again?
This time it's going to be 2 sentries in the Warp Prism.
There's Glaives. Show us the gases.
Again.
Oh my god.
The fact that he's running it back a 3rd game in a row is kind of wild.
You know when you see
but it was different.
And he's like,
that's what's important. It's been different variations every time.
Whoa, it's my card. And then like he's like shuffling the deck, and then he like makes it come out of your ear again. He's like, "Is it your card again?"
Does go for the sentry. Stays in gas.
Is he gonna do it again?
Oh.
It's the sentry too. He's gonna energy read.
Yeah, he stays in.
You're leaving to.
He stays in gas. He might go for the DT follow-up again, or otherwise he'll just go for the same build he went for in game 2.
Instead of your credit card, and you go, "How's he doing this?" This would be incredible if Reynor got 3-0'd by the War Prism Rush. That would be insane.
So far, 4 gateways.
Zergs will be having a very hard time on the ladder. I can basically guarantee that. This is all you're going to see for a long time if Zoun wins 3 games in a row with this build. And let's not forget that from game 2 to game 3, there was an adjustment. Game 2, it was just the pure play of
early roach run under Reynor.
Main base force field. And game number 3,
6 gate Glaives.
Dark Shrine mixed in.
This was the other variation. So game 1 was 4 gate Glaives with the sentry, of course, with the force field. Game 2 was 4 gate Glaives into DTs. This is 6 gate Glaive Adepts. This is even more committed.
Out of reach.
Let's go.
For Reynor. So what is the adjustment going to be here in game number 4?
6
We
gates.
have 2 additional gateways and a 3rd gas come in. So we might have a big gateway timing attack follow-up to this push.
Yeah, and this is going to be more of a basic type rush, but you know, if Reynor's like trying to protect versus DT.
So this is one of the other common variations.
Face right now. So he's like, oh my god, it's happening again.
All right.
I'm never going to get a hive in this series. He's going to move in. The first shade cancels. And in fact, he may not commit with this at all.
Yeah, like when you go into 6k Glaive Adepts, you don't commit early on. You threaten shades, and you build up your adept count, and your adept count gets higher than normal, and then you catch opponent off guard as they like try to drone, as they assume that they've survived the aggression, and the game is going to continue. Really important that Reynor just check for a 3rd base. If he sees a 3rd, he knows he can drone. If there's no 3rd base, he needs to make nothing but army.
As we have some positioning come in, a little bit of a supply block right now for Reynor, but those overlords about to finish, so it shouldn't be too consequential. And for Reynor, he's playing this on a very low drone count. Yes, he does have a 3rd base, but if you look at the income there in the bottom right of the screen, there isn't really any bars, like the blue arrows that point up to the top or the red arrows that point down to the bottom, signaling a mineral income difference.
And I know
those are basically equal just because it's basically 2-base saturation for both players. And now we have so many adepts going into the main base. He does cancel this shade.
Does cancel.
He's not going to try and use the concave on the high ground. Instead, just continue snowballing the adepts. And this is looking a little bit scary.
Oh, he's going for the prism.
That is
my God.
a massive number of units.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
Gets one.
Only gets 1 Ravager. In fact, did he save the sentry? I think he picked it up.
Sentry gets saved, and so does the Ravager also with those vials.
Okay, he's going to come down here. He targets
Okay,
the first
nice
queen.
Glaives.
The second one is going to go as well.
Ooh, vials do not connect.
Perfect. Shade over here.
Shades into the ramp. Nice position.
This position in the natural as he's going to try to go.
Can he buy the army?
You can see
the
surface
vials.
area is
Oh my God, they do
not
connect.
bad. For the Adepts, they do eat a lot of corrosive vials as they shade up into the main. There is another Warpin that's coming in here to try to hit the natural, and so the rotation of
not enough damage to fight. Oh, the vials! Oh my God.
He's gonna have
The vials are
those few Adepts
connecting.
up here in the natural. He's got 2 that really can't do that much over here now. And it seems
Reynor
like
holds.
Reynor holds it off as we're seeing everything else begin to retreat.
Yeah, considering how committed this push was.
Remember, no 3rd. Remember, there's no 3rd base for Zoun. This had to do critical damage, and it fails to do so.
It might look like a lot because he's down at 35 right now, but Zoun, this is everything. That was 6 gateways worth of adepts. He isn't taking a 3rd base. He hasn't been building probes for a hot minute right now. The first unit that he's made that hasn't been an adept in the last couple of minutes is this first Immortal. That's about to get cranked out. And so, yeah, Zoun for a brief moment did have an economic lead because of the damage he got done, but it was not worth the army that he traded. If he wants to win this game, he needs to get more done with the follow-up push.
He's not rallied the Immortal, but he's also not making probes, so this is going to be a push that he tries to close the game. I guess he wants to pocket that. I guess he doesn't want to show this. Maybe it's kind of a tempo play. Like, it looks kind of like he's just buying time.
Yeah, and 2 more gateways in production, but I must say, I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know if those gateways are even going to be able to be fully utilized.
Well, the 2 gates in production confirm that it's just 2 base all in. Like, there's no other follow-up here for Zoun. He's just going to double down.
Right now, and that main base
Getting him to 8 gates.
Entire time. Okay, 3rd base in production. So I like that.
So he might want to basically mine out the main base and just do a swap with the workers, and then just try to use this to be the engine of the push. What a crazy series so far. Zoun kind of doing the same opening, but now on the 3rd branch. So he's just showing the adepts. He's got 3 immortals behind this that he hasn't shown. Now, a lot of times you see the pushes happen with the first immortal.
He's going to bleed out some adepts.
He's got the Warp Prism coming over here now. Now, there's no way to go in the main. In fact, it really wouldn't make any sense. We have Evo Chambers.
Yeah, the problem here that Zoun, he's hoping that Reynor is too greedy, that he overdrones, that he gets a 4th expansion, that he gets up to like 70 workers, and he cuts corners. Problem is that Reynor has been staying on a low drone count and been focusing on Roach Ravager. Like, he's building up his army.
This is more, as Tasteless pointed out, Zoun freeing up more mineral patches for his now oversaturated main base. It's just going to boost the mineral income to have a little bit more power behind the push. And he's trying to also signal to Reynor, hey, look at me, I'm expanding, I'm taking a 3rd base, there's a transition coming. He's still hiding the immortals on the right side of the screen.
And remember, it's been so many roaches. Now, Banes are...
Yeah, the problem here is that Reynor, he's in droning, right? Like, they're talking about how, like, oh, Zoun is getting a 3rd base. He's, like, showing a Maynard, so he's showing that he's expanding. But, like, Reynor, he's still very fixated on army production.
The Robo is a very interesting choice coming in from Zoun. I guess if Reynor spends all of his gas onto Ravagers, there isn't really a meaty target for the Immortals to chew through anymore if there's no more roaches, if it's just Ravager Ling. So the Robo Bay, maybe we add in some Colossus to get some anti-light damage? Although we do have the Adepts, it's interesting.
Well, I guess he sees the Banes and he goes, okay, well, maybe we do need to switch into Colossus. Could he get Disruptor? I guess it doesn't make any sense. I mean, the Immortals are there to kill the Roaches. And, you know, Disruptors are great against Roach Ravager because they chunk up so much. It is going to be Disruptors. Okay. I kind of thought it was going to be Colossus as well.
Okay. No, I also completely just misread the situation. I thought that we weren't going to have much of a transition from this push. I thought this really was just going to culminate.
Well, something that's really helping Zoun here is we were talking a lot about how Reynor's been fixating on his army, and that's true because of that. Reynor doesn't actually have a booming economy, and Zoun can actually slow this down and macro out of this. Like, it's possible.
The minimap right now, there has been an observer this entire time at the junction between the natural and the 3rd base of Reynor, so I think that Zoun just noticed Reynor never really stopped producing army. He's been staying on a very low drone count. He's only at 58 at 10 minutes and 40 seconds into the game, and that was probably the signal flare that's like, okay, let's not attack into this. Let's let Reynor attack into us, and that makes a lot of sense to transition to Disruptor. They're going to be very useful here defensively.
Okay. There's going to be a small number of Adepts that are going to
counterattack. Tasteless was stunned for a moment there.
Well, there's links to
I was waiting for them to start as well. Nice. I say that Lings are in position. Shorts and Evers. Oh.
Shot hit. The force fields are fantastic. It is an uncomfortable fight over here for Reynor. He needs to get closer in here where most of his Roach Ravager can actually do damage. Some of the Immortals are kind of sticking out on the outside here. Same with this Disruptor that's going to be killed before it can actually get its shot off.
Yeah, the gateway units are standing strong here on the left side, but the right position has collapsed here for Zoun, having to retreat into the natural expansion.
Oh, the juggling.
It looks like he's going to be able to hold nonetheless.
Yes, the Zoun.
Moving forward right now, chasing down
these
surviving units.
He still takes all the buffs to the face, by the way. But he's holding.
He's going to commit fully to the counterattack here, Tasteless.
Yeah, the question is the counterattack going to be an overextension? Supplies are virtually the same right now. 100
Zoun, he has a lead.
But, you know,
Zoun, he has momentum. He won that fight. He's pushing out. He has a Disruptor as well. Can he land the Nova? Can he land it?
By the way, the most important thing in this push is
Reynor's in trouble.
You cannot lose that. The rush is going to die if the Warp Prism's hit, so he has to keep it back, which means it's going to be harder to juggle with it. He's got one Immortal and one Disruptor. It's too bad the other Immortals were picked off in that fight, but that's what happens when you don't have
never goes off.
there to help.
Oh my god, nice splits.
Disruptor shot.
Very nice splits.
Yeah, shaving away one more Roach. 4 Adepts are going to shade here into the natural expansion, and that opens up the position to attack.
Oh, the Baileys! Good connections.
Good connections on the clumped up Adept. Zoun, I think, was microing there at the natural expansion. Did not have time to split his forces, and that's going to prompt a retreat Behind this, you look at the income right now for Zoun. He had 1,600 minerals in the bank a moment ago, but basically no gas. So he's taking additional guys at this third base. I almost wouldn't be surprised to see him take a fourth just because the mineral income is so high. Instead, no, it's going to be static defense. He's going to try and play a defensive game, perhaps anticipating a counterattack here by Reynor.
By the way, there is like almost nothing mining at the fourth base here. Like this is
So Reynor, he just droned up to 3-base saturation, just got up to 65. So this is a bit of a misread out of Zoun. Zoun is getting ready for a counterattack, but Reynor just droned up.
And you know, Reynor, he can power up with Roach.
So now Reynor can, now he has an economy. Up until this point, Reynor, he was kind of all in, but now he actually has an economy to work with.
Across the map just yet and try to slam Zoun.
And soon Reynor's he's gonna move out. He's gonna push.
I'm feeling the same way, but I think if Zoun goes for a fourth base, then suddenly the opportunities open up here for Reynor, because look at the map architecture of the map. The fourth base, no matter which one Zoun chooses, is going to be a wide open field where
it's an open third and an open fourth. Like it's like what is this map?
All the tons
What
of
is this?
+1 lings that are going to be on the map can just absolutely ravage these bases. Reynor, I think that is what he's waiting for. He knows that the natural expansion also is starting to mine out. Looking at the mineral patches here on the mini-map, I only see 4. Yeah, it's already halfway mined out. The main base is...
Okay, Reynor's maxing out. Reynor, he'll soon push. He has a lot of Ravagers, a lot of Banelings as well.
55 workers, but even that isn't going to last that
We need the best Novas possible. The best Novas here from Zoun.
He needs to, by the way. The games that are this, I should really say maps, create games that are like this, where it really feels like, you know, growth has to be very, very measured. You know, it's not like these maps are far away where you can kind of get a lead and throw 2 or more bases down or even 3 more bases down and try to press that, because, you know, you can counterattack so quickly on maps like this. So as Protoss takes the fourth, it looks like Reynor, well, he kind of ventured up there, but he's going to turn around.
They should be pushing.
He might actually grab everything else that he has and try to hit the 2
Reynor's got 1-1.
This is going to be very tough for Protoss to defend.
Yeah, there's
Bay gets spotted.
A lot of static defense here at the third base, so if Reynor decides to use this Baneling squadron that he has hanging back right now for a counterattack at the third of Protoss,
There it goes off.
He's got to be really
no
careful
connection.
to use those Banelings wisely. Is he going to go for that counterattack, or is he instead going to try and get a surround on this army? Is that
a kill?
Nexus actually did get killed there?
Oh.
Did it get killed?
I think so. I mean, we're seeing the wreckage on the ground. So
yeah, that should not have happened.
Good point. Yeah, so that actually does go down. I like the 2 adepts.
Yeah, miscontrol out of Zoun.
Off a couple of drones. And we got a counterattack here from Zoun. I don't feel like this is safe, but we really got to see, like, do the Banelings connect? Like, what does this fight actually look like? Good blink away.
I think Zoun has correctly identified if the game goes later than this, he probably can't win. And maybe trying to win this is an uphill battle, but he might as well go for it.
Oh, the disruptor shots are really good.
Yeah, those Ravagers,
the
very low on
links,
HP. He's going to blink
the surround.
forward. I like that on top of the low HP Ravagers. Force Field's also completely sectioning off this army. The Biles are going to open up the position right now for the Banelings to get in. Blink on a lot of these Stalkers still on cooldown. This split here from Zoun has been good.
Oof.
I don't know, man.
Because the Biles are crazy.
More damage, and he's going to blink away as they connect in. Reynor is at 137 supply here. There's more links coming out, but the army complexity is also greatly gone down. Another blink in. Is this reminiscent of game 1 here, where he dove in a little bit too fast? I think it is.
Yeah, that blink forward not really being rewarded here, as the economy for Zoun behind this is in tatters. There's very little income as the third base.
If Zoun had a fourth base, he could keep this going, but the lack of fourth base is brutal for Zoun.
Zoun is going to have to expand out of the fourth base behind all of this, but I'm not sure that transition is going to be viable. Reynor, he might have canceled the high tech, but if he didn't, he has so many options at his disposal right now. 65 drones. He's securing a 5th base all the way down to this 5 o'clock position here on this map.
It just seems like Zoun is obsolete right now.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I don't think there's really a lot he can do.
29 out of 14 on that third base. That's so painful.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal. Well, I think that Reynor can wind up for another attack and probably just deny the third base. You know, there's not much more as far as income that Protoss is going to have. The second base is going to mine out. Think about how many games we've casted, how long they go, and then how few bases this one has had.
Yeah, although it's been very fun, I must say. I think Kill Switch and Evil Heart being voted in by our patrons has been... It's created so many unique games because we usually don't get maps that are this aggressive. They're a little bit unorthodox.
Okay.
It's been so fun to see these play
Lands
out.
with Solid Nova. Oh no!
It looks like Reynor is finally getting ready to.
Yeah, Reynor, he can break through now.
Out of this game, that
We're going to the
only
ace
halfway
match.
done. I don't think it's ever going to reach completion as Reynor comes in on all sides right now. A big surround. Zoun retreating into the static defense. It's fantastic positioning. The force fields are beautiful, but Reynor just has a little bit too much, Tasteless.
GG. Reynor takes it. We're tied up 2-2.
Maybe that fly was the problem all along there for Reynor.
True.
It's been taken out.
I forgot about the fly.
It's been taken out, and now he's on a better footing.
You know, I wonder, are we going to have another weird War Prism build again here? I mean, there's only so many versions versions of this that you can bring out. But it's all kind of within the same theme.
So we've seen, what have we seen so far? We've seen 4 gates glaives into the sentry setup that we saw in game number 2. We saw 4 gate glaives into DTs, and then we saw 4 gate glaives into 6 gate glaive adepts in this most recent game as well. From my understanding, that's kind of it. Like that's it when it comes to variations outside of 4 gate glaives into a 3rd base, right? Outside of like a standard opener or even a DT based opener into an Archon drop. So there are other kind of openers you can go for off of a Twilight Council we haven't seen yet that are a little bit more macro based instead. Game 5 is going to be where? Exactly. Ley lines. Okay. Ley lines, one of the more standard maps of the map pool. You could get away with going Twilight Council here, for sure. I just realized that it looks like we vetoed all the macro maps. Like, ley lines, that's as close as you can get to macro here.
Is a Herculean task against some of these aggressive builds. We're going to be going to ley lines, a standard map here for set number 5. Match point on both sides. The winner of this upcoming map is going to be advancing to face Cure in the upper bracket semifinals. The loser is not out of the RSL Season 2, but they will fall into that lower bracket. And Zoun, he has done 3 versions of kind of the same build, just with a little bit of a twist every single time.
Right.
I like it. I actually think it makes a lot of sense against a player like Reynor, who looks to be absolutely deadly in the mid game and the late game in ZVP right now. I think it makes sense for Zoun to try and knock him off balance early on and just be like, you know what? I have these very specific, unorthodox strategy prepared. You have to deal with this. We're not going to play your game where you get to go up to a maxed army supply, 80, 90 drones, 5, 6 bases, and power up the way that you
Didn't even need to smudge. True. Didn't even need to.
So far, it has brought him to a 2-2, but can he run it back again here on ley lines? Can he throw another wrench into the works? We're going to find out. Zoun spawning as the blue Protoss here in the top right, Reynor the red Zerg in the bottom left.
So we've got the first probe headed out on the map here.
Okay.
To block off
we
the
go.
hatchery.
For a moment there, I thought we had 2 probes moving
so
out, but it was just getting the pylon.
This is the last game of the evening. I'm glad we ended up getting a little bit more value, more game time out of this series. The first one was...
We're totally getting a winner's interview, right, guys? Right?
And I guess the big question is going to be,
Smudge.
is it going to be another timing attack? You know, something with Warp Prisms, something with Blink Stalkers, or is this going to be our first proper macro ZVP?
So based on the veto process, this is the most standard map in this current series. So if we were to get a standard game, it is most likely to happen here on ley lines. I say most likely, but as they alluded to, I do favor Reynor in a standard game. Like I 100%, I favor him in a standard game. So we expect to see something different out of Zoun.
This is going to be a pitiful game
despite
for
the map
Protoss from here on out, but these have actually been pretty action packed.
Yeah, these have been they haven't been if you're a fan of macro games, they haven't been the most riveting experience, but in terms of just unorthodox gameplay and forcing Reynor to think on his feet and all these little twists and turns that Zoun has prepared at the different branches these builds can go, it has been so much fun. I feel like these have been probably the best executed 4-gate glaive builds that I've seen in a very long time. It's a refreshing new perspective on the way that build should work.
You know, if you wanted to teach somebody some advanced builds, this would be a good series because you can show somebody, okay, here's a Warp Prism adept play. Now here's a variation of that. Here's another variation of that. You know, and then you kind of see how each one plays out. And okay, so if this fails, here's sort of what you do. It might be losing from this position, but you still can try to create some advantages by trying this or that. I think the most famous first example of this in StarCraft 2 was Squirtle's group, where our Toast tonight casted this, and he must have had like 7 or 8 build orders that all started out the same way, and then they went into different directions.
Twilight
It was
Council.
in a group stage.
Oh, wow.
And I think
So Twilight Council opener out of Zoun once again, 4 games in a row. Once again, though, we're going to be keeping our eyes open on the Gas Geysers. Now, when it comes to different variations of build, if we do go for something different, then we're expecting him to pull out a gas. But we'll see. We have yet to see a DT opener, for example. True. We saw a DT follow-up, but no opener yet.
God, I'm such a nerd. I was rewatching that finals a couple of weeks ago.
It's a great finals.
To kind of get me ramped up for RSL again. I'm like, let's go back to the glory days. Let's watch some
Stays
of
in
the
gas.
best StarCraft 2 that's ever been
It's
played.
like one of the most iconic moments in StarCraft 2 is like the
Goes into
mothership
Glaives.
uses the what was that called?
Oh, God.
If he stays in, I feel like we have to recycle one of the previous builds. No shot, we have something else here.
Oh my god! Oh my god! We just do that over and over.
It's such a pure moment.
And I have my vocal cords blown out because I didn't know how to project my voice. I was like, he's going for the vortex. Oh my god, Artosis. Well, here we go. If it isn't our old friend, the Robo,
Are we going to have...
and his best buddy, the Glaives upgrade.
Yeah, I wonder...
He stays in gas.
Bear with me for a moment, because we've seen 3 different variants. I'm
We have?
actually going to go ahead and pause it. We don't even need to see a 4th variant here. You've shown 3 different ways this
That's
can
the thing.
play out. Just go
Yeah.
back to one of
I
them.
don't think there's a 4th variation. Like, from my understanding, we're capped out. From my understanding.
Yeah, the DTs I would like to see again. I feel like that's a hard adjustment to make. And also, if Reynor tries to cover all of the bases, it has to be very clean. Because if he doesn't, then...
So I imagine we have to recycle one of them, but we'll see.
DTs as a follow-up.
We're looking for a Dark Shrine or 2 more
In
gates.
terms of, do you have enough resources to deal with the initial adepts with the force field, right? There's a lot of different ways it could go. And the fact that Reynor really hasn't had time to workshop responses to this, he has to think on his feet. He's been doing that this entire series, and in a way, he kind of has been workshopping the response over the course of this best of 5. It's hard to make sure that you're making all of the right choices here as Reynor, right? He's going for the same response that he did before. It is the 3 Spore Crawlers. I feel like the timing is a little bit different than before.
This is looking like what we saw in game 2. No Dark Shrine or extra gateways. If it was going to be DTs, we'd already seen it.
Okay, I don't see it yet.
Yeah, we would have already seen it.
Was there a I think there's a sentry in there.
Oh, certainly. I don't even need a...
Mafu
doesn't have to click on it. We just know.
There's just one zealot in there. You're like, okay, that's weird. All right, here we go. Is the 4th time to charm?
Oh, Immortal immediately.
Yeah, starts Immortals.
I guess it is going to be a fourth build.
Well, we got to see. He might just make 4 Immortals and just do this again.
Yeah, but with the additional gases coming in at this timing, I wonder if we're going to have like a throwback to like a Soul Train kind of push. By the way, those force fields just completely...
Yeah, he didn't catch him. Oof.
Will we have any sentries warped in back at home? Oh, it's going to be Blink.
He's transitioning out of it.
Okay, yeah, +1 here. Again, a little bit of a different kind of push, but you know he hasn't really scratched Reynor just yet.
Yeah, and what this push does, even if you don't commit to actually shading in on any of these bases, is it really slows the game down. Also,
oh my god,
just barely out of range of
They're
those
so
biles.
flexible, Pappy.
Barrel rolls in
Crazy.
between the biles.
It's very tricky when it's a cloak unit because you can't see the flyer helper that indicates where you have to bile to actually kill the thing. So a bit of a shot in the dark there by Reynor. Okay, we do have some adepts, 5 adepts getting shaded here into the 3rd base, but only
Better get much done.
falling.
Nice biles.
Yeah. I like the move, but it did not pay off there for Zoun as he takes a 3rd base, continues probing up, +1 Immortals. We do have a Dark Shrine also underway.
This feels very shaky, very desperate out of Zoun. This is less clean. Again, he invested quite heavily into the gases early on. He didn't really do much of it. He's going for a late 3rd base, late transition, late tech, late Dark Shrine. Everything is delayed here for Zoun. If Reynor gets into his own head too much, then maybe this can work.
You need to have those adepts where the warping is happening. You can't leave them outside like that.
Yeah, or just flush against the Nexus or something.
Yeah.
Give the Sentry an opportunity to save them with force fields. Instead, we have 7 adepts that have fallen over the last, what, 2 minutes for like a Ling or 2 and 2 drones. It is not very good. And Zoun is just getting every single Twilight tech possible, by the way. He got Glaives, he got Blink, he's getting the Dark Shrine, he's getting the High Templars right now. It's kind of wild, especially considering the 3rd base only just.
It's very messy. It's very messy here from Zoun. he can still kind of piece it all together, maybe.
You very
But
rarely see this.
things
I
are looking
can't
bleak for the
remember last game
Protoss.
that I casted where we had so much heavy Twilight Council tech this early on.
Gonna go up into that storm. So I guess this was sort of the opening without any pressure behind it. Let's just develop. Let's maybe let the Zerg take a fourth base much later while we can sit on our third and kind of.
Well, the problem with this being like the build without any pressure is that would have been 4 gate glaives with less gas mining. But here we had excess gas that was not really used, unfortunately.
Doing every single game with this build, but as it is, that's not the situation. Zoun is instead developing up. He's fully saturated now on 3 bases after passing that 66 worker mark. And Reynor has not taken the bait. He is droned up heavily. He's taking a 4th base. He's going well past 70 drones.
Yeah, the hope for Zoun was that Reynor under drones again, like we saw on Evil Hearts. But here, Reynor has been droning. He's saturating. Reynor's about to max out. And once he does, he should be pushing. And it's going to be a tough hold for Zoun.
To slow the game down a little bit, but to what end? He hasn't really been able to eke out any advantage as a result of that.
That's true. He hasn't forced out that many units, I don't think. He didn't kill that many drones. And organically, the Zerg does max out here. They will need to dump some of the supply, probably by attacking into the Protoss. And then we're going to get to this lurker tech.
Zoun is going to try to get to Skytos.
And probably some pretty sharp pushes here from the Zerg.
Oh.
And the Stargate tech now also coming in for Zoun. I'm tempted to say this isn't even for some kind of carrier or Tempest transition yet. It might even just be for Oracles to have that persistent detection on the lurkers, because I don't see a way that he supports.
He already has the robo.
For the units that he's got already. That's Dark Shrine, High Templar Archives,
I'm pretty sure that's for
all these
Skytos.
Stalkers, the sentries that he's made, getting glaives, getting +2 charge. Literally every Twilight Council tech possible has been researched. I mean, charge is about to be finished, for God's sake. And with the 4th base coming in, up until this point, it's been only 6 gases, right, Tasteless? So the Stargate's done. We're not going to have any late game transition come in yet from Zoun. Instead, I'm expecting a lot of Zealots.
Yeah, I think he's going to fill that in here. Protoss is moving out, going to hit 6 o'clock. We've got Lings and Roaches for a counterattack or a flank. He's going to come in here now. Guardian Shield's procced. Oh, those some Biles actually connect pretty nicely.
Yeah, the Biles and the Force Fields
get some OK Storms.
Now, these Lurkers are on the field, but Lurker range only just now getting researched. We do have a counterattack right now. Reynor, it looks like he's probably
forces
going
a
to be able
recall.
to get a cancel here, and Zoun desperately needed gas number 7 and number 8 because he's trying to get the second Stargate done with the Fleet Beacon. I said that you probably can't afford it. I think if the 4th base gets canceled like this, you certainly cannot.
No, it's not.
Yeah, as I mentioned, like the Stargate was indicative of Skytos. Zoun, he needs that 4th base. Actually, if he can get his 4th base up and running, then maybe he can macro out of this. But
here now and try to hit this.
Yeah,
it's again still looking very bleak.
From this stage, if we can keep the core gas units alive, the Immortals, the Sentries, the Stalkers, the Templar, then maybe you can just warp in Zealots for the next 2 or 3 minutes and get some carrier production online. But it is not easy to manage this economy from Zoun. It doesn't have a lot of opportunities.
Okay.
Okay, little counterattack in over here with the Zealots.
Tempest.
Oh, it's going to be Tempest. I guess I kind of decided it had to be carriers here. Oh, I love the placement of that Warp. It's just far away enough.
He knows it so well.
Yeah. He's like, nope. I got to get a couple pixels over here.
All right, 4 Zealot warping here in the main base as Zoun continues to test the waters. And although Zoun isn't getting much damage done with this pressure, he is keeping Reynor contained on 5 bases, which is very good news here for Zoun, because Reynor is also trying to play a very gas-intensive style. As long as Zoun can secure this 4th base, and I'm a little bit worried as we see another counterattack getting mustered over here in the top left corner of the map.
We've got the Nidus coming up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's going to be a moment
I mean, Zoun is maxing. Like, he's maxing out. We still have a lot of roaches for Reynor, so he has a very inefficient army. Like, the army supply is inefficient.
Is there an overseer?
So Zoun, he can stabilize.
I don't see a spot where you can easily do this. He might actually just do like a Nidus in the push just to reinforce.
I think he's just waiting for Overlord speed. I think it's a very calculated decision to start Overlord speed the same time you basically start the Nidus network.
Yeah,
because
makes sense.
Then those overseers, you can see 2 of them right now in the bottom right of the screen. I think 1 all the way here in the top left. Yeah, Mampu pointing that out. And these are going to be so speedy right now. He can just set up a Nidus canal basically anywhere that he wants on Zoun's side of the map.
Okay. The Nidus is going to be right here at the natural. That's going to pull the army away from the 4th base. And positionally, this is going to be a nightmare here. for Zoun. You know, that air weapons upgrade is actually happening right out here at the periphery.
Yeah, well, because they get within range. Oof.
He's going to hit. The Tempest can do damage, but they're not going to kill
Zoun
things
out of
too
position.
fast. Oh my god, the Ravager's really eating a crazy amount of those Psy Storms. We've got action in the main here as well. Oh, excuse me, that's the second Nidus that was made over there.
Nidus gets taken out. There's so many lurkers here that this Nexus has no chance of surviving.
Okay, nice run by.
Getting a lot of damage done right now. Reynor did send the Lings to clean it up, but 13 drones are going to fall. Reynor down to 59 workers.
Zoun trading well.
The economy here for Zoun isn't great. Even though he's on 73 probes, he doesn't have
he
much
counterattacks.
because that fourth base got
Going for the expansion.
He's actually going to be coming in here with a
Zoun, he can get that base, the hatchery.
With that initial push, some lurkers are very bruised as well.
We got the attack coming up here now. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to fight.
Yeah, catching on some lurkers as well. These have been more efficient trades for Zoun, for sure.
Reynor going to be chased away. I think we have another Nidus network happening at 12 o'clock at that 5th, which I think I accidentally called a 4th a second ago, but that is the 5th base.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is to
that is the 4th, yeah.
The Tempest here for Reynor. It feels like he just doesn't even have enough supply free because the lurker count is so high, right?
He's got 9 corruptors.
Nice snipe on the hatchery.
You know, this is a
Takes
lot
on the
of
5th.
Tempest. I think it's like 7 or something, so... And there's more.
For the past like 3 minutes, Zoun has been out trading Reynor, 100%. He's just been straight up just out trading, shutting down the lurkers, the Lings.
Should be enough to deal with this Tempest.
Outside of losing the base, of course.
Fourth base will survive. Fifth base now getting thrown down by Zoun here in the
Here
top
come the
left side of
corruptors.
map. More static defense also coming in, as I think Zoun's probably a little bit annoyed by. He's annoyed of these Nidus networks. He's trying to set up the cannons in position to basically.
Oh no, the Templar! No!
Oh no, these Templar! Oh man, God!
Out of position.
Miswalking with the Colossi and
Oh,
GSL,
no.
dude, it's the same thing. So many Templar just get cleaned up for free because Zoun wasn't expecting the path on that bottom side.
He was pulling off the comeback. It was happening.
For Zoun until that moment, but Reynor, oh, he is not one to miss that opportunity. He seizes it, and now he's going to lay siege to this fourth base once again.
Okay, he's going to attack it again. And, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any easy spot. No air weapons upgrade to try to punish and take away there. More corruptors are going to be made. I mean, the thing is, Zoun is still growing on the map. And you can see that really Reynor's being very cautious to not overextend. I love the Ling dive here. And could he have gotten that? I felt like he actually could have gotten that. It might have been worth it to get it. I guess he's going to know better than me, but I thought he was going to commit down onto that.
Oh, 2 more Stargates in production, Tasteless. We're going to have 4 Stargate from Zoun.
I mean, Zoun, he also does have Templar, which slow him down, so he's stuck defending back at home instead of really applying any pressure. But Zoun, he's remaxing. He's remaxing, rebuilding, getting to +2 air attack, 2 more Stargates. Like, Zoun, he's holding his own.
Some of the key pieces, but the way that he gets there is just very unique.
Okay, he takes his Nexus out again.
Oh, +2.
And this is going to be a Cybernetics core shutdown.
Oh, maybe not. Okay, he is going to siege it down once more.
The battery's like, going to save it. I've got you.
I thought for a moment that Reynor might just retreat from that position. I had a fear of the Tempest perhaps coming down. All right, another Zealot counterattack here.
Oh, catching up the Lunkers.
The central hatchery from Reynor, just
3 Lurkers falling.
As well as a lot of work
catching roaches as well.
Base. I mean, 8 drones, it might not feel like a lot at this
Reynor, he bleeds out a lot of units.
I suppose it isn't because these bases are mostly mined out, but we're getting into a relatively low economy territory. It's 4 base versus 4 base.
Yeah, Reynor, he's still stuck on 4 bases.
And we have so many Tempest, Tasteless.
Yeah, he's got, you know, the issue always when you see an army that looks like what Zoun has is that it's slow. It's scary and it's hard to engage, but you can hit in other places. And I mean, Zoun in this game is also doing a good job, like we just see here with the Zealots, setting a small little force out there and trying to take this out. So once again, the Nexus is going to fall. I don't know what the mineral situation is.
That was a kill.
Protoss bases
no.
But you know,
Zoun,
he will
por favor.
eventually mine these out. He has to take these positions. So the Nexus is going to be remade there. I think it would be wise to make like 10 cannons there.
Yeah, he just needs to get that base up. The gas income is starting to run a little bit thin for Zoun, especially as he warps in Templar 4 at a time and tries to power up with 4 Stargates in reserve. And so he's going to be double expanding right now. Reynor is able to catch one of these, also going to use the vision to set up a Nidus Canal here in the central location.
Nice denial.
And with 2,600 minerals, I'm right there with you. Just throw down some cannons and some batteries. Buy yourself a couple of seconds because these bases
Reynor, he's going for the top base once again. I believe this time Zoun is ready for it. There's an army in position.
Again, another attacker with links coming up. The mothership is going to be in the mix. As this gets chased back. Zoun with, this very death ball-y army. But, if he commits somewhere, he will be sacrificing another position.
Oh, the Archon count is actually so high.
Oh, the attempt to surround? He's going for it.
Archons in total, and Reynor is going to be trying to surround this position on every side. The Corruptors are finding good connections right now onto the Tempest. Detection is here for Reynor. Corruptor is able to take down the majority of the
Tempest is going to be going down.
Zoun is winning on the ground. The Lurkers have been taken care
Get
of.
some mothership.
But these Corruptors, they are falling now to these Archons.
The Archons.
More Mortals coming in from
they
the
pop
north.
off.
Is there detection?
Oh
yes,
my
there
God.
is. Rainer's getting cleaned up on the ground.
He's done it.
From him. And Zoun is remaxing on Tempest, producing
the mosquito is back.
His entire bank, and he's still only 135 supply.
Yeah, and I think this may be the moment where Raynor's going to fall. We have a couple Hydras and Links
Wow,
coming in
impressive.
Here. The Zealots need to get into the front because every Immortal, every Archon...
This was a messy mid-game for Zoun as well. Very messy mid-game, but he got there. He got there in the end.
Zoun has now separated Reynor from his two sources of income, the two bottom bases at 6.
Man, Zoun just with an insane game right now. Even recalling right now, he might lose one Tempest. Indeed, one does fall.
He's just going to regroup and attack it again. He knows he's basically got this.
Yeah, he has a base.
Just a brilliant decision there from Zoun.
He has a
Why
fifth.
would you risk overextending in a position like this one? You just secured your 5th base. You're able to saturate that one up.
Just saturate the 5th.
Counterattacks. You know that Raynor's economy has been in shambles for a long time. The one way you lose this game as Zoun from this position is, say Reynor was able to remax on even more units.
Brutal Zealot run by.
Zealots. All right, Corruptors might be able to take down that Nexus. Actually,
Do
the Tempest are going to be
do we
able to
trade
clean that
bases
up.
again?
This hatchery's going to fall. There's no economy. Oh, Reynor, hands off the keyboard.
GG.
Whoa, what a series.
Dude, Zoun played amazingly.
Both players, that was incredible. Zoun.
Crazy.
We had four Adept Glaive builds that all branched off in very different ways. I mean, imagine being Reynor in that position. You keep seeing basically the same hand getting played in the early game every single time, but the follow-up is just different. And how do you concoct the perfect response in a best-of-5 series like this one? Zoun had so many variants prepared. We saw, I think, probably all 4, because he had that Link Stalker build predetermined. He's like, you know what? On one of these aggressive maps, I'm just going to use that. That'll be the one non-4-gate glaive build that I use.
So we didn't really have 4 variations. So when it came to the final game, it did look shaky. It was like this final game for Zoun was very shaky when it came to the aftermath of the 4-gate glaives. Just because he had excess gases, he delayed his own expansion. Like, it felt very shaky. This is also where I would love to get an interview with Zoun and get his thoughts on the series, thoughts on the builds of choice, and also what happened in that final game, because it did feel like a big slip up. Like, it did feel like he was freestyling a little bit and scrambling for a transition, and it was shaky. It was very shaky. Reynor, he had the advantage. Reynor, he was denying bases. He was the first to max out as well. But Reynor, he also didn't really have much of an economy. We spoke about this a little bit in the Evil Heart game, but Reynor, he very often in this series, because Zoun was playing so chaotically, Reynor, he was having a really hard time determining whether or not he could drone. Like, he was having a really hard time. Like, is it safe to drone right now? Is he about to attack? Is he not? Is he making an army? Is he not? Is he expanding? Like, so Reynor had a really hard time determining, can he drone? Can he saturate? Can he actually focus on his economy? So here in the final game, he never really had a booming economy. He was losing bases, really crucial Zealot run buys out of Zoun, but also Reynor had a really hard time droning, saturating, and also taking up as well. Like, Reynor, he was stuck with too many roaches towards the end of the game as well, like a very supply inefficient army, whereas otherwise he would want to go into spellcasters, into vipers, infestors, with your lurkers, with your corruptors as well. So Reynor also had a shaky transition into the later game because of how Zoun was playing. Not necessarily because of what Zoun was accomplishing, but just because he's been so quirky and so aggressive throughout the entire series. Like, it did seem like Reynor was very, very tentative with how he was playing out, and yeah, very unsure of himself at times.
Take the bait. When Zoun went for the same play and was greedy behind it, Reynor recognized the situation. He transitioned, but just the trickiness of Zoun. I love it, because we saw him earlier on in a group with Classic Astray and SOS. He was able to take all of them out. He emerged first place in that group. He beat Classic, the best Protoss player in the world right now. And Zoun sees that. He's like, nah, I'm not going to let you play your game. I'm going to go four gate claims, 4 maps in a row.
Let's go.
So sick.
So, can we get the next scene up here? Yeah, we're going to get to the next day of games tomorrow, guys. We're going to be on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I got to say, man, it's been so fun doing Season 2 of RSL. Season 1, you know, there's always a couple of hiccups. Anytime you try to build it like a studio and put on a new show, there's always challenges. But this one has been so smooth and so fun. So feel free to join us. It's going to be going live at 7 p.m. KST, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we also have Season 3 just around the corner.
And not just Season 3. In December of this year, there is going to be an offline finals. And you see right there, travel and accommodation for the champions, because we are going to have players in the studio. We are going to have casters in the studio. And not just this studio. We are going to be getting a big arena for everybody. We're going to have a live audience. If you're on Patreon or if you want to buy tickets, you can come down, show up, watch a live StarCraft 2 in Seoul, Korea. Just phenomenal stuff, man. I am so excited.
It's been a real undertaking for us. I don't think we've ever really seen this, like from this not existing to where we're planning on ending it at the end of the year with a live esports event in Seoul. Basically an offline finals, 15 million won to give away to the prize pool. We'll have more information on that as we finish booking and staffing the venue. We are also sponsored by Archon Studio.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this is the second season of RSL, but it does feel like there's still... One, it feels like we kind of rushed into Season 1, for sure. Like, Season 1 did feel like it was rushed a little bit. And it still feels like there's room for growth, room for iteration as well. I'm sure that they are taking feedback and thinking about how they can improve the show and improve the event itself. I do think there is a lot of room for improvement. For example, like days like this. I mentioned before that this is a really short broadcast. This is less than 3 hours. Less than 3 hours, and we're done with a day of RSL. Whereas if they want to keep the match count low, there's nothing wrong with that, but there are like other things you can do here with the show, with the players, with the studio, with the setup that you have. When it comes to like content outside of just the games, right? Interviews, discussions. I mentioned before that I do think that there's a missed opportunity, the fact that they're in Korea and they have an offline studio. There is so much in Korea regarding to players, regarding to casters, other content creators, in regards to StarCraft or even StarCraft adjacent or even ex-StarCraft 2 content creators and commentators. Like, there's a lot that can be done with a setup like that. And they were always restricted in GSL because obviously they're not in charge of the show. They're not in charge of what is showcased in GSL. So now that they have creative control, I do think that it's a wasted opportunity if they don't take advantage of that, right? It's like if they don't bring in some other people, and not necessarily the cast. I should also emphasize that as well. I'm not saying that they should bring in, you know, I don't know, like Doa, I don't, or like Wolf or Valdez, who are in South Korea, and have them into casts again. Like, maybe that would be fun a little bit, but for the most part, it'd be fun to have them in the studio, just to be able to talk about the matches in between series, right? To have that kind of discussion, to catch up and do other things as well. Like, I feel like a lot that can be done. Hope they do get around to maybe exploring that a little bit more. Interviews, of course, is something that everyone's been asking about, right? Crank is casting right now. Crank, he has really good English, you know, he is obviously fluent in Korean, whether it's Crank, whether it's Maddox, you know, getting in a translator to be able to interview, to be able to have content with, you know, some of these Korean players as well, and Korean personalities. Take advantage of it, papi. Yeah, aprovech. Ay. So, yeah, I feel like right now there's a lot of potential with RSL. I feel like there's a lot of room for growth, and I do hope they're able to meet that potential when it comes to what they make of this show, for sure. Hope so.
So, yeah.
It's been a great day at StarCraft, man.
Yes, it's been an amazing day. That's all the time we have, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
I just want them to recreate A and Z champs. That just run it back. And give us more A and Z champs, papi. Ay. The RSL. They should hire like... No, that's not what I'm asking for. It's not what I'm asking for, papi. They don't need light. It's fine. Yo, they got their patrons. Let's go. Yeah, I'm wishing the best, of course, wishing the best. And we do plan on co-streaming the rest of the playoffs. We did not co-stream the group stage as we were busy casting our own events, of course. There's plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. But I do feel a little bit bad because RSL Season 1 occurred. I'll be honest, I did not get a chance to cover any of RSL Season 1, or I should say to watch any of it. Like, we're just casting all the time, and it's quite difficult to actually find the free time to cover the event in our own free time because we're always casting anyway. For example, if we weren't co-streaming RSL tonight, do you know what's going on right now? Kung Fu Cup. We'd just be casting that. we would just be casting Kung Fu Cup instead, which I think started like right now, or if not like 45 minutes ago. So if we wanted to, we could just be casting something else. But I did feel bad the fact that RSL is a big event that occurred, and I just kind of missed out on everything that occurred during RSL Season 1. So I want to be there for RSL Season 2. We, of course, have permission to co-stream, so not like we're doing this out of nowhere. Like, no, we have permission to co-stream. Co-streaming is like kind of like a viewer party-esque kind of experience, so that's why we're like adding a little bit of flavor commentary on top of the casters themselves. That's also why I'm not muting them or anything like that, because that's not the purpose of this stream. So again, just a co-stream like we have done in the past for DreamHack or with EWC. So again, we do have permission, and we do plan on co-streaming the rest of the playoffs at least. And we'll be doing the same for Season 3, ideally. Co-stream the playoffs, maybe stay away from the group stage just because, you know, there are other events going on that we have to cast. So that's the plan moving forward at least. They don't need light, they need smudge. True. But otherwise, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you enjoyed the broadcasting. Up next, we do have some more StarCraft, of course. As you can see here on my right, we just wrapped up with the Thursday evening cast, and we have the podcast slated to begin in less than 20 minutes. In around 15 or so minutes, we should be live with the podcast. That is our weekly talk show where we talk all things StarCraft. So again, we do host this on a regular weekly basis, and we have decided to move the podcast to just after RSL. So this stream should actually go down for like a second and then go back up. So it should go down for a couple of seconds, then come back online, and we should be live with the podcast to go over all the news and all the events of the week in StarCraft. Let's go. That is the plan. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. The stream should be going back online. Thank you. Just reaching out to make sure that that happens. Otherwise, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. When it comes to the rest of the weekend, as you can see here, we have 4 days straight of RSL. We have Galaxy Cup tomorrow night after RSL, and we have Maestros of the Game also Saturday and Sunday night after RSL. So again, if we weren't co-streaming RSL, we'd probably just be doing Kung Fu Cup into all this, or hosting other events, casting other events. Because these are going to be back-to-back evening casts, that's also why we're leaving the mornings open so I can sleep. Because it's going to be, bam, RSL into Maestros, or RSL into Galaxy Cups, or RSL into the podcast. So that's why the mornings are being left open for the end of this week. It is nice to get some sleep. It's nice to get some veg. A little bit, Pappy, a little bit. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Horse Local in the chat. God, Pappy, God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 31. That's a lot of months, Pappy. 31 months. You're crazy, Pappy. You're crazy. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Este Horse Local. Gracias, Pappy. Gracias. It's a different flavor of stream, and variety is the spice of life. Yes. Different flavor. A little bit more laid back, a little bit more chill. But with that, so we are going to be heading off for a moment. Un momento, papi, un momento. And again, we're going to be going live in a couple of moments with the podcast. See you then, papi. See you then.